A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry, at Fair Oaks.
Come on, Jerry. Can't you run any faster?
Hey, your legs are longer than mine.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, for the love of Mike Lee. Come on, we've got to get to Linwell's house
Before the man sees us, yeah, I know. But what are we going to say when we get there?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're not supposed to let Harold know anything about this.
Oh, golly, I forgot.
Well, how can we tell Mr. Linwell without letting Harold know?
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to figure it out when we get there.
Yes, but we should have some sort of an idea.
I'll tell you.
What?
I'll ask Harold to get us a glass of water, and when he goes out into the kitchen, we'll tell Mr. Linwell we've got something very important to tell him, and that he's got to get rid of Harold for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, come on.
Well, we made it. I was watching the windows of Mrs. Cooper's boarding house, and I didn't see anybody looking out.
Oh, you can't tell, though. He might have been back from the window someplace where you couldn't see him.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, hello, boys. Come in. I'm awfully glad to see you.
Thanks, Mr. Linwell. But where's Harold? Isn't he here?
Yes, Jerry, he's here. Harold's, well, he's feeling pretty badly right at the moment. I felt it was the best thing to tell him about all this mess, and he took it rather hard, poor kid.
Oh, say, that's too bad.
Gee, yeah. Well, did you really have to? I mean, well...
I know what you mean, Jerry. Yes, I felt it was the best thing to let Harold know about it, because if he does, he can keep an eye out for himself, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, come in, boys.
Mr. Linwell, we've got something very important to tell you. Will it be all right to talk about it before Harold?
Oh, yes, it's all right now. I think we should all know about everything that's going on.
Yeah, I do, too.
Right in here, boys. This is the living room. Where's Harold?
Harold? Oh, Harold, where are you?
I'll be back in a minute.
He's probably getting rid of any evidence of the little crying spell he had a minute ago. Don't mention it to him, will you, boys?
No, we won't.
Well, sit down, fellas. If you don't mind, I'll take this chair. It's a little better for my leg.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Well, let's wait till Harold gets here before you say what you have to say, boys.
Yeah, okay.
Well, did you walk up to the school and back tire you any, Mr. Linwell?
Oh, no, not at all.
Well, hello, Harold.
Hiya, Harold.
Hello, fellas.
Sit down, son. The boys have something to tell us. All right now? What is it, fellas?
Well, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah. Mr. Linwell, we seen the man who was in the shack on Woodman's Island.
Oh,
No.
Dad.
Do you really think you have?
We know we have. He was in Mac's place just now, and he addressed an envelope with a gold fountain pen that exactly matched the gold pencil we found in the shack.
Well, Jerry, where'd you go? Did you see?
Yes, we did. After he left Mac's, we followed him by cutting across the outer campus, and we watched him walk down this way.
Oh, gee.
Oh, it's all right, son. Don't worry now. Go on, Jerry.
Well, he stopped and talked to Ralph Humrick, one of the cadets, and Ralph pointed up here to your house.
Oh, Well, this does look like our man, doesn't it?
Well, that's what we thought, sir.
And then after Ralph walked down Birch Street toward the front gate of the school, the man walked up and down in front of your house here. And then finally he walked on down the street and went into Mrs. Cooper's boarding house.
Where's that?
Down at the end of the block, about 5 or 6 houses down.
Well, boys, I guess we're in for some fun.
Fun? Gee, I don't call this fun.
I mean excitement, Harold. Yes, I think this is the man I've been expecting.
Expecting? Have you been expecting him, Mr. Linwell?
Yes, the way I have. What did he look like?
Well, he was quite tall and thin. He wore glasses, gold-rimmed spectacles, and he talked with an accent.
Yeah, that's one of them.
What do you mean, one of them, Dad?
Well, son, I might as well tell you and the boys the entire story. We're all in this situation now, and it's important that we know exactly what we're doing. About 2 weeks before I was to make the test flight in the new bomber, 2 men came to me and made me a proposition. They told me that they wanted me to make a fake forced landing in a field near the airport, that they would be near in some trees, and that when I landed, they'd run out and take some pictures of the ship.
Gee.
I was also to give them the specifications and a copy of my log during the test flight. They told me they'd pay me $10,000.
$10,000?
That's right. I tried to find out who they were, but I couldn't get any more from them except that they were agents of some foreign government.
Spies?
Yes, exactly. Spies. Of course, after they told me what they wanted, I just left them off and said nothing more about it. Except, of course, to tell Bill Layton, the president of the company I work for, and he got in touch with agents of our government right away, and I was trailed night and day.
You were trailed? What for?
Oh, no, not account of me, Harold. They were trying to pick up the men who had contacted me, but they never showed up again. Well, as a part of the test, I was to drop a couple of dummy bombs into a field. The field had been roped off and people were kept away from it. And just as I got over the field and was ready to drop the first bomb, I noticed a little white flag, the one that you boys read about in the papers.
Yeah?
And just after I dropped the first dummy bomb, something started going wrong with ignition. And, well, of course, that's when the crack-up happened.
Well, what's this man here for now, Mr. Linwell? I mean, why did he come to Farrell's?
Undoubtedly to keep me from talking.
Oh, I get it. They haven't had time to get out of the country yet. And so this man is going to try to do something to you so you won't tell the government that he's still here. Is that it, Mr. Linwell?
That's what I think, Jerry.
Oh, golly, this is awful.
No, it isn't awful. The only thing I've got to do is to get a message to Bill Layton without this man knowing that I've sent it.
Well, we can do that for you.
No, I don't think you can, Jerry. I'm afraid that as soon as this man finds out that you two boys and Tubby Young are particular friends of Harold, you'll be watched, too.
See, I know how we can do it.
How?
Corporal Dent.
Yeah, that's right. He knows all about this, too. I mean, he knows about the man being on the island and everything.
Yeah, sure he does.
Well, I think an easier way would be to have Captain Gardner take care of it.
Oh, sure. I didn't think of Captain Gardner.
You see, boys, he knows about this, too. And I think you'll be in much...
Look. Oh, Jiminy, don't yell like that, Lee.
What's the matter, Lee?
There's the man.
What? Yes. It's one of the 2 men who first talked to me.
Yeah, and he's coming in here.
Quick, boys, into that other room.
Yeah, come on, Harold.
No, let Harold stay here. Just you and Jerry Lee.
All right, come on, Jerry.
Yeah, okay.
And close the door and don't say a word, boys.
All
Just
right.
listen.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Come with me, Harold.
Okay.
How do you do, Mr. Linwell?
How do you do?
I have come with another proposition. I should like to have a talk with you.
Yes? What about?
Ah, this is your son?
Yes, this is my boy, Harold. Mr... I don't believe I've ever known your name.
No. I have not thought it necessary before this to inform you. My name is Yorga. Alexander Yorga.
Yes? Well, what is it you want now? I thought I made it clear to you once before that I had nothing to give you or sell you. I thought I was quite explicit when I told you I wasn't in the slightest interested in discussing my affairs, nor yours with you.
Yes, you were quite explicit. My associates and I understood your attitude perfectly, Mr. Linwell. But now, well, the picture has somewhat changed.
Changed? I fail to see how it's changed anyway. I'm still not interested in anything you have to say.
No? Mr. Linwell, this is a fine-looking boy you have here.
Go on.
That is all. Is it possible that you do not follow my reasoning?
It's a good thing for you that I'm crippled up the way I am.
Yes, Mr. Linwell. I took that into consideration.
But if you think you can keep me from talking about your dirty proposition to me before my last test flight by threatening my son...
That is exactly what I think, Mr. Linwell. I am certain that when you realize how it might be possible for us to make you and your son extremely unhappy, and, shall we say, uncomfortable, I am sure you will, as you say, think twice before you reveal anything to the agents of your government.
Yes? Suppose we leave it up to my son.
Ah, very, very clever of you. That is an extremely intelligent idea. We will see what the boy has to say.
Harold, you know what I've told you about this man?
Yes, Dad?
And you've heard how he's threatened to harm you if I tell our government what the plans of this man and his Confederates are?
Yes, sir. I know.
Harold, shall I tell our government or not?
Sure, Dad. Sure. Tell him. I'm not afraid.
There you are. Now, if you have an answer to that.
Yes, Mr. Linwell, I do have an answer to that. It is very simple. If you make any move to communicate with the agents of your government, I shall not be responsible for the consequences to your son.
Get out of here. Go on, get out.
Yes, I was about to leave. Good day, Mr. Linwell. And good day, too, to you, my boy.
What do you think he'll do, Dad?
Nothing. He won't do a thing. You're absolutely all right, Harold. Don't worry.
Well, I'm not worrying. He can't scare me, the big lug.
Oh, that a boy. Lee, Jerry, come on out.
Golly, Mr. Linwell, what are you going to do?
He sure sounded as though he means business, didn't he?
Of course he means business. And that's exactly the reason why you must move fast.
You bet. What do you want us to do, Mr. Linwell?
Jerry, I want you and Lee to get a note that I'm going to write to Captain Gardner as fast as you can.
Well, sure, anything you say.
But, well, don't you think this Yorga will see Jerry and me if we leave the house now?
No, Lee. There's a side entrance to the house that opens to the driveway going back to the garage.
Yeah, I saw it as we came in.
All right, then. You can go out there and run back the alley that opens into Court Street. By that time, you'll be too far away for anyone to see you.
Yes, and I'll bet Jerry and I can run faster than that man, too.
You bet you can. All right, I'll write that note over here on the desk.
Gee, Harold, that was swell of you to talk up to that man the way you did.
You bet it was.
Oh, that wasn't anything. Say, my dad's the most important thing in the world to me. I'm not going to let him tell lies to the government just on account of me.
I wonder if your dad will keep you here or whether he'll let you come back to the school.
I don't know. We'd better ask him when he gets through.
Well, I think we'd better quit talking now. Mr. Linwell's trying to write a darn important letter.
Oh, yeah.
There. Now, which one of you boys wants to carry this?
I'll carry it, sir.
Good. Here you are.
Okay. Do you think I ought to hide it? I mean, put it in my shoe or something? Someplace where nobody will find it?
Oh, no, I don't think that's necessary, Jerry. It's more important that you get to Captain Gardner as quickly as you can.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Linwell,
Yes, Lee?
do you want Harold to stay here, or shall we take him with us to the school?
Oh, I think he'd better stay here right now. For two reasons. First, because I think he'll be safer here until we can get somebody to guard him. And second, because I think probably you two boys can make better time without him.
Yeah, I can't run as fast as you fellas.
All right. Come on, Jerry. You got that note put away?
Yep, it's right here in the pocket of my coat.
Okay, come on then.
Yeah.
Come this way, boys, through the dining room. Here, let me look out first. All right, the coast is clear.
Okay. Here we go.
Thanks, boys.
That's okay.
Gee, this is sure awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Golly, Lee, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to turn out for the riding practice till this thing is cleared up or not.
Oh, sure you will. You can't let it get you down.
Yeah, but, well, just thinking about anything happening to Harold...
I know how you feel, and I feel the same way, but, well, Mr. Linwell and Captain Gardner will be able to figure something out. You'll see. We won't have to worry about it much longer. I'll bet the government will send some men here right away.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
98,000 dealers bring you Sir Cedric Hardwicke in tonight's presentation of Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite presents a story about the most infamous poisoner who ever lived. The Diary of Dr. Pritchard. Our star, Sir Cedric Hardwicke.
Land ho, Harlow.
Huh? Oh, hi, Mr. McSorley. Why the sailor's salute?
Why, in commemoration of that intrepid explorer, Christopher Columbus, whose day is coming.
But Autolite Day is here.
Is it no?
Sure, today and every day, complete Autolite electrical systems, including the starting motor, distributor, generator, battery, coil, wire, and spark plugs, are being installed as original equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors. And every unit and component part is related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill to give the smoothest performance money can buy.
Oh, Christopher Columbus had plenty of trouble because he insisted the world was round.
But you'll never have trouble if you insist on Autolite original factory parts for your Autolite-equipped car. It pays because, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite presents transcribed The Diary of Dr. Pritchard, a true story starring Sir Cedric Hardwicke, and hoping once again to keep you in suspense.
There we are, Lily. Now I want you to drink every drop.
Will it taste nasty, Doctor?
No, not at all. A little sour, perhaps, that's all. To make you feel ever so much better. Hold your nose if you like, and mind you every drop. Come along. It wasn't so bad.
Not very nice, sir.
Have to take the bitter with the sweet, Naughty girl, too many treacle tots, eh? A touch of gastric annoyance. Well, we must be careful of our waistline. Such a pretty waist.
I think I'm getting sleepy.
Good. Lie down. I'll cover you up.
You're so good to me, Doctor.
You're a good girl, Lily.
You'll be a tickle. Stop.
Good night, Lily. Sleep well.
Good night.
Lily? 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 That's better. Good night, Lily. 5th of May. What a frightful thing. The upstairs maid passed away in her bed. She must have fallen asleep whilst reading, and I suppose the gaslight ignited the curtains. She burnt to death. Poor little Lily. It will be a great loss to Mrs. Pritchard. I shall have to wire her the first thing in the morning. Then it will be as well to engage a maid to replace Lily as soon as possible. After that, we had better move to a more suitable residence.
But why, dear? Why must we move?
I've been thinking about it for quite a long time, Mary. Whilst you were away, I made up my mind to suggest it, and now, after what happened to poor Lily...
But it seems so lovely here, especially for children.
I know, but there is my position, too. We owe it to ourselves to keep up appearances. Now, there's a delightful spot in Cavan's Place. I'm sure you'll be very happy with it.
All right, dear. If you think it for the best.
Indeed, I do. The best of us all.
Oh, are you going out, dear?
Yes, I have one or two patients to see.
Well, before you go, I did want to talk to you about the new maid, Ellen.
Oh?
It was terribly sweet of you to engage her while I was with Mother, but... Well, I rather wonder whether she's exactly suitable. I mean, she does seem a little forward.
Well, I hadn't noticed that. I find her character excellent and her appearance very pleasing.
Well, yes, but
Mary, I think you better begin the arrangements for the moving. I shall be home in time for dinner. Goodbye, my dear. 9th of May. Dear, sweet Mary, how she does worry about every little detail. How can one man be so blessed with such a loving wife and family? I must provide only the best for them. I do hope that Mary likes the new house. I'm sure that she will once we are settled. June 3rd. We are going to be very happy down here in Clarence Place. The children are adjusting themselves marvelously to their new surroundings. I was rather aggravated that the insurance company refused to pay compensation for the belongings of poor unfortunate Lily. The few trifling baubles which couldn't be found in her room. I almost received the impression that they suspected I was making a fraudulent claim. I shall change companies immediately. Must remember to prepare tonic for darling Mary. She seems rather tired lately.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Ellen. Everything all right today?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's good. And what has cook prepared for dinner? Eh?
Something I'm sure you'll like, sir. By the way, sir, I forgot to thank you for the pretty things you left in my room the other day. They must have been awfully expensive.
Not at all, my dear. You're a very obliging girl. The baubles were nothing at all. Nothing. Where is Mrs. Pritchard?
Upstairs, sir. She's not feeling very well. Took a lie down after tea.
Dear me, I must run up. It's off, isn't it, Ellen?
Yes, sir.
Quite. I should know, shouldn't I? I may have to go out myself later to see a patient.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right you are, Ellen. Perhaps I can drop you off somewhere.
Thank you, sir. Thanks awfully.
Not at all. Tell cook I shall be ready for supper in 10 minutes.
Very good, sir.
Well, what have we here?
Oh, hello, Edward.
Oh, now, this will never do. What seems to be the trouble, Mary?
And I don't know. I just don't feel well.
Nonsense. Have you been taking the tonic?
Yes, dear.
No, I think that you're babying yourself. A little, perhaps. Out with it.
Well, I really don't feel at all well, Edward. My head aches and I feel sick.
Let's try a spoonful of tonic,
Oh, must I, dear? It doesn't seem to really do any good.
Now, doctor knows best. There's a sedative in here, help you to relax. The moving must have been too much for you.
And I suppose so.
Sit up, dear. There. Must take care of my sweetheart, mustn't I? I shall have to go out later. I'll leave instructions with nurse to put the children to bed. I want you to rest.
Yes, Edward. Oh.
What was
it? It's my stomach, I think.
Now try to rest. Cook will send you up some hot broth later. I shan't be late.
I had a lovely evening, sir.
I'm so glad, Ellen.
Sir, don't you think that I ought to go around to the service entrance?
Of course not, silly girl. I walked you home, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
Before we go in, Ellen, don't you think...
someone will see.
Oh, no, it's too dark here.
Your beard. It tickles.
No!
What was that? It's Mrs. Pritchard, sir. Oh, no, she's been murdered.
Go to your room, Ellen. Immediately. Mary, what's the matter, Mary?
Oh, the pain in my...
My dear, you're waking the whole house. Do try to control yourself.
What's the matter with me? I'm so sick. Edward, what is it?
Or more than likely acute indigestion. Nerves, you know.
Edward, I'm frightened. Will I die?
Oh, you old girl, you? Oh, you're as healthy as an ox. Now stop worrying, We'll have you fit as a fiddle and right as rain in no time, 10th of June. I am at my wit's end. Following her seizure a week ago, Mary seemed to improve. Then she came down again with terrible pain. My poor dear girl. She has sent for her mother, who's coming over from Edinburgh. I could not deny her wish, and I shall be overjoyed having Mrs. Taylor here. Some of our friends are talking about a consultation, in particular Dr. Gardner. I've given him my diagnosis. He seems to agree, but there is some doubt. Our house is a mournful place these days. I shall be so happy to see Mother.
Edward?
Hello, Mother. Welcome. Welcome. How is my sweetheart?
Your wife is very, very ill, Edward. I want to talk to you about her.
Yes?
What are you up to, Edward?
I beg your pardon?
What's the matter with Mary?
If I knew, do you think she'd be suffering the way she is?
Now, listen to me. I telephoned Dr. Gardner and...
This is extremely unethical, Mother.
If my daughter dies, that'll be more unethical, Edward. She was perfectly well when she visited me last month. Perfectly.
Now she is not. Do you find that unusual?
Dr. Gardner doesn't quite agree with your diagnosis. He feels that it's not his place to interfere, but that Mary should have hospital attention.
I think that I may be the better judge.
I can't force you to listen to Dr. Gardner, Edward. But I'm staying here to look after Mary. Is that clear?
If you feel it's your place.
I shall be with her day and night. I'm going to prepare her food, everything.
Oh, I see.
I'm glad that you do, Edward. It'll make everything so much better.
of June, 5 p.m. What an extraordinarily good woman is Mrs. Taylor. It relieves me of such a burden. Ah, motherhood, like a tigress protecting her young. And I would have it no other way. I must do something for dear Mother while she's here.
Afternoon, Dr. Pritchard. Lovely day.
Lovely. I say, I need an ounce of Henley's tincture of aconite.
An ounce? Oh, of course, Doctor. You must use quite a lot of that, Doctor. Didn't you buy an ounce last month?
Oh, yes. I find it an excellent preparation for intestinal ailments.
Oh, glad to know about that. My wife...
I really shouldn't administer it if I were you without medical supervision. It could be dangerous. Quite dangerous.
Autolite is bringing you Sir Cedric Hardwicke in The Diary of Dr. Pritchard. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Harlow, that Christopher Columbus is sure a famous name.
Sure it is, Mr. McSorley. Just like Autolite, the world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Why, complete Autolite electrical systems are used as original equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors.
Columbus was a fine worker, Harlow.
So is the Autolite electrical system. It goes to work the instant you turn on the ignition, and it keeps working every second your car is in operation. It works, too, when you blow your horn, play your radio, turn on your lights, or use your electric windshield wipers.
Sounds mighty important, Harlow.
And it is. So, friends, treat the electrical system of your car to a periodic checkup at your car dealers or at your nearest authorized Autolite service station, where you will find experts that know the electrical system of your car best. To locate your nearest authorized Autolite service station, look in the classified section of your telephone directory under Automobile Electrical Service, or telephone Western Union and ask for Operator 25. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Sir Cedric Hardwicke in Elliot Lewis's production of The Diary of Dr. Pritchard, a true story, well calculated to keep you in suspense.
2 days since Mother Taylor arrived. How splendid she has been. She idolizes Mary and doesn't move from her side night or day. I know that she couldn't be in better hands. For a little while, I wondered whether it might not be better to send Mary to hospital, but now I think not. She's already showing signs of improvement. How delighted I am to see the color returning to her cheeks. And how is the patient today?
Oh, I feel ever so much better. Thank you, Edward.
I'm so glad.
Edward.
Yes, my dear?
Give me your hand. Mother has been talking to me about going to Edinburgh with her. Taking the children as well.
Has she? Has she? Now I wonder why. Do you think she feels you need a change?
I'm not going. My place is with you. We've never spoken much of these things, have we, dear?
I don't quite...
Well, I mean, here we are, 20 years married. One forgets that, doesn't one? Have you been happy? Have I made you happy?
What an odd question.
Oh, no, it isn't. I've tried to make Mother see that. She thinks that I'm not happy with you, but she's wrong. She's always been wrong. I love you, Edward.
I've brought you supper, Mary.
Oh.
Well, now doesn't that smell nice? Your appetite is improving, my dear. You'll be out of bed in no time.
Yes, she will.
Thanks to you. Eh, Mother? Are we dining together?
I'll be down presently.
Good. Don't be long, will you? I'm famished. "15th of June, 8 p.m. I really believe things are getting better. Mary finished every scrap of her food, and when I went up to say goodnight, she looked positively radiant. I must say the dinner with Mother was a pleasure, and very soon now all will be as it was before. Mother will be gone. I think I shall go to the music hall tonight. It's the servants' night off, and I should like to get out of the house to make a change after the strain I've been through. I know Mother will take care of Mary."
I did what I could, Pritchard. I tried to reach you, but couldn't find you. I'm afraid it was too late anyway.
How horrible. What could have happened?
I don't know.
Catalepsy, do you think, Gardner? The old lady has a history, you know.
Yes, possible. Was she all right when you left her this evening?
Quite. Does Mary know?
No. She was asleep.
Poor girl. Poor girl. It'll be such a shock.
I was on my way over to see how Mary was getting on. A friendly visit. I was alarmed when nobody answered the door, and then Mrs. Taylor somehow manages to come downstairs.
Brave. So I do hope she didn't suffer.
She died a few minutes later. She was in great pain, Pritchard.
Frightful. I don't know what this will do to Mary.
Break it as gently as you can, won't you?
Of course. Can I make you a whiskey?
No, thank you. No, I'd better be off.
Yes. I say, about the death certificate, catalepsy, you think?
I'm not sure. It was rather odd, almost as though she had been drugged.
Drugged? Oh, yes. Well, that's possible, you know. She had been in the habit of taking pills at night, insomnia, she calls it. Not a very good habit, I'm afraid. That might account for it, don't you think?
It might. Well, please offer my condolences to Mrs. Pritchard. I'll drop by in a day or two.
Awfully kind of you, Gardner. I'll see you to the door. "16th of June. In the midst of life, we are in death. How sorry a truth in our house. We are in mourning. A fine old lady has died. Mary took the news bravely, and once again we are together, alone." 25th of June. Dr. Gardner made the death certificate, and Mother was buried a week ago. I have been so occupied with my practice that I've had no chance of making entries until now. Dr. Gardner has been calling quite often to inquire about Mary. What a thoughtful man. We are fortunate indeed to have such a friend. After the tragic news, Mary has suffered a slight relapse, but it was to be expected. 6th of July. Little improvement in my dearest Mary's health. Last night a severe attack. Dr. Gardner is troubled and begs me to send her to hospital. What can I say? I know that we are all better off with her at home. It is for me to use all my medical knowledge to make things easier now. I cannot bear her agony. It has gone too long.
Hello, Doctor.
Good afternoon. I have 1 or 2 prescriptions for you to fill.
Very good, Doctor.
Oh, and, I think you can add half an ounce of Henley's tincture of aconine.
Goodness gracious, Doctor. Every indigestion case in the city must come to you.
Oh, well, I'm not really so popular, you know. Still, the medicine does serve its purpose. 6th of July, 7 p.m. I know my diagnosis is sound. I explained it to Dr. Gardner, and he must have been convinced. The children have gone to their aunts for the holidays. It is much better that way. Ellen has taken an egg flip to Mary. She eats so little nowadays.
Dr. Pritchard, Doctor.
Oh, dear. Ellen, I have asked you to knock...
I'm sorry, sir, but what I gave the madam, I tasted it.
Why? Why did you taste it?
I'm sorry, sir. She asked me to. It's awful, burning like I don't think she should have it. It must have been bad or something. I feel awful sick.
Go downstairs, Ellen.
She oughtn't to drink. It's so rubbish.
Now, I'll take care of it, Ellen. Go downstairs now.
Yes, sir. All right.
You only took a sip, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but it was...
Well, ask cook to give you a glass of milk. You'll be all right.
I will.
How annoying.
Edward.
Ellen tells me you're being very naughty. You won't take your egg flip, and you used to love them.
It doesn't taste the way it burns my throat. I can't drink it. I can't.
What am I going to do with you? You must take nourishment. This is so good for you, dear. Please, for me.
Oh.
Here. I'll sit you up.
No, I'm be all right.
No. I expect the children to behave this way, but not my Mary. Drink it up.
Oh, no. It'll kill me, please. No, I can't.
I'm afraid you must, my dear.
Oh, no,
That's a good girl. July, 8 p.m. Tonight, my darling wife, Mary Jane Pritchard, passed from this life. Her last words were of love, and in her eyes was tenderness. How shall I live without her? What nobility and goodness she possessed. I cannot find words with which to describe my feelings at this moment. I do hope that Ellen is not indisposed, foolish little thing. She might have been very ill indeed, tasting what she did. What a tiny waist she has, and how she loves to stroke my beard. Ah, little Ellen.
Dr. Pritchard?
Ah. Good evening, Gardner.
We've just come from the chemist shop, Pritchard. We know about your purchases there.
Really?
Tincture of aconine, that's what you use, isn't it? I should have known that's what killed Mrs. Taylor.
No, Dr. Gardner, I'll take care of this. Your wife is dead, Dr. Pritchard. I warn you that anything you say may be taken down and given in evidence against you.
I imagine it will be.
Why? Why did you kill them?
So many reasons. All things considered, I thought it for the best. You probably wouldn't understand.
I shall have to ask you to come along to the station with me, sir.
Oh. Yes, of course. I wonder, though, if you'd mind waiting for just one moment. I have one last entry to make in my diary. Mary, my darling, and you, Mother Taylor, soon, quite soon, we shall meet in happier circumstances in a far happier place. How could it be otherwise? I have no fear, only regret that no one will know my last thoughts. I close this entry with these words to whom it may concern. For he who lives more lives than one, more deaths than one, must die.
Suspense. A true story presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Sir Cedric Hardwick.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. They are members of the Autolite family, as are the 98,000 Autolite distributors and dealers in the United States and thousands more in Canada and throughout the world. Our family also includes the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast and in still other Autolite plants in many foreign countries, as well as the 18,000 people who have invested a portion of their savings in Autolite. Every Autolite product is backed by constant research and precision built to the highest standards of quality and performance. So remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week, an award-winning actor with another award-winning performance. Mr. Richard Widmark, in the true story of a man alone on an atom-bombed island, will be heard on Suspense. The Diary of Dr. Pritchard was written for Suspense by Anthony Ellis. Suspense transcribed and directed by Elliot Lewis. Music was written by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Featured in tonight's cast were Paula Winslow, Elma Lawton, Georgia Ellis, Norma Barden, William Johnstone, Ben Wright, and Joseph Kearns.
Sir Cedric Hardwick may be seen in the fall tour of the first drama quartet presentation of Don Juan in Hell by George Bernard Shaw.
You can buy Autolite electrical parts, Autolite stay-full batteries, and Autolite resistor or standard type spark plugs at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Lights out.
I wish I didn't have to stay here and work all day. I wish I could take a vacation and go to Bermuda or Nassau, Florida or somewhere. The grass is green in Bermuda. Green grass in March and the sky is blue instead of all gray and the sun is shining. I wish I was in Bermuda. I'm so tired and worried. Wish I had a big office with a nice Davenport in it so I could lie down and sleep whenever I wanted to. I won't get to bed till all hours tonight. Here comes Patricia. Pretty girl. Patricia's a pretty girl. If Lucille knew about Patricia, she'd probably divorce me. I wouldn't like that very well. I wouldn't like it at all.
I brought in those letters, Johnny. The ones about the stamping machine.
Oh, thanks, honey. You've got too much lipstick on. I suppose I've got to kiss you.
Oh, don't, Johnny.
That's the old stuff. If I didn't kiss you, you'd probably get sore. You're all right, Patricia, but I wish you wouldn't. I don't know what I wish. I like to kiss you, but I don't like to have you expecting it all the time. Oh, come on. Give me just one little kiss, Pat. Come on.
Oh, Johnny, please.
Come on, sweetheart. No, I suppose I've got lipstick all over me. Patricia, you've got too much perfume on, and you know how I hate the stuff. And that green dress. I give you money to buy new clothes, and you wear that dreadful green thing all the time. Love me a little, Patsy?
Oh, I love you, Johnny. I do love you. You darling.
Well, that's all right. Only don't love me too much, baby. If Lucille finds it out, she'll tear your hair out. She's tough, Lucille is. The time she slapped that Flynn gal at the club.
Now, Johnny, stop. You've got to get those letters signed. Go ahead and sign them.
Oh, there's no rush about the letters, but there is a rush about them. They've got to get off in the airmail.
There is, too. They've got to go airmail to the coast tonight, and I've got to get them ready for Hal to take to the post office. Now, you start signing them while I fix. I brought in those letters, Johnny. The ones about the stamping machine.
Oh, thanks, honey. You've got too much lipstick on. I suppose I've got to kiss you.
Oh, don't, Johnny.
That's the old stuff. If I didn't kiss you, you'd probably get sore. You're all right, Patricia, but I wish you wouldn't. Well, I don't know what I wish. I like to kiss you, but I don't like to have you expecting it all the time. Oh, come on. Give me just one little kiss, Pat. Come on.
Oh, Johnny, please.
Come on, sweetheart. No, I suppose I've got lipstick all over me. Patricia, you've got too much perfume on, and you know how I hate the stuff. And that green dress. I give you money to buy new clothes, and you wear that dreadful green thing all the time. Love me a little, Patsy?
Oh, I love you, Johnny. I do love you. You darling.
Well, that's all right. Only don't love me too much, baby. If Lucille finds it out, she'll tear your hair out. She's tough, Lucille is. The time she slapped that Flynn gal at the club.
Now, Johnny, stop. You've got to get those letters signed. Go ahead and sign them.
Oh, there's no rush about the letters, but there is a rush about them. They've got to get off in the airmail.
There is, too. They've got to go airmail to the coast tonight, and I've got to get them ready for Hal to take to the post office. Now, you start signing them while I fix my face.
Oh, Pat.
Now, go ahead.
Smart girl. She'd like to neck, but she knows her business. She's all right. Yes, sir, she's all right. John R. Phillips. John R. Phillips. John R. Phillips. John R. Phillips. Phillips. I've got a funny name, Phillips. Nice signature. Wonder what a handwriting expert would say about it. Wish I could go to the coast along with these letters. Fly to the coast.
I'll come in after 5 o'clock, shall I, Johnny?
Uh-huh.
I'll come in after 5 o'clock.
Oh, swell. Bet. I wish you wouldn't come in after 5 o'clock. I get tired of this business, Patricia. I wish I could go down to the bar at 5 o'clock and have a drink. I'd have a Manhattan, and maybe I'd have another. And then I'd catch the 5:19 and go home and have dinner and read the paper and go to bed early. Well, they're all finished, darling.
Oh, that's a good boy. You got one more kiss now for doing your work tonight.
Thank you, Patsy. You sweet girl. I wish I was in Bermuda. I wish I didn't have to stay here. That perfume smells awful. I don't like it. I hope nobody opens the door suddenly. Hurry up, take the letters and go away. If Lucille should open that door and look in here, she'd scratch your eyes out, Patricia. Hurry up and get this kissing over with.
Oh, you're so sweet, Johnny.
You're pretty sweet yourself, Patsy. Stop calling me Johnny. Stop it. Don't call me Johnny. Phillips is bad enough. Johnny. It sounds like a 10-year-old kid. Go on, take the letters and get out. Please, Patricia.
See you after 5 o'clock, darling.
Okay, darling. Wonder what time it is. I wish Patricia would leave me alone. I can't get any work done today. I wish I'd gone to bed early last night. I wish I could go to bed early tonight. There's that silly bridge party. I hate bridge. I wish I could play bridge real good so I could win a lot of money. How much money can you win playing bridge? I could go to Bermuda if I could play bridge good enough to make a lot of money at it. Why do people have to call me up on the telephone? I suppose it's somebody I don't want to talk to, somebody I owe money to. Maybe it's Lucille. Maybe it's Keene Crockett. Maybe it's Frank Loughran. Maybe it's... Hello? It's Lucille. What's she calling me up for? Oh, hello, dear. I wonder if she suspects anything about Patricia. I wonder if she... Well, where have you been? She never comes downtown suddenly like this. Oh, is that so? Well, how was the show? You're a nice girl, Lucille. I like you. I love you, Lucille. I love you better than Patricia. Hurry up and get this kissing over with.
Oh, you're so sweet, Johnny.
You're pretty sweet yourself, Patsy. Stop calling me Johnny. Stop it. Don't call me Johnny. Phillips is bad enough. Johnny. It sounds like a 10-year-old kid. Go on, take the letters and get out. Please, Patricia.
See you after 5 o'clock, darling.
Okay, darling. Wonder what time it is. I wish Patricia would leave me alone. I can't get any work done today. I wish I'd gone to bed early last night. I wish I could go to bed early tonight. There's that silly bridge party. I hate bridge. I wish I could play bridge real good so I could win a lot of money. How much money can you win playing bridge? I could go to Bermuda if I could play bridge good enough to make a lot of money at it. Why do people have to call me up on the telephone? I suppose it's somebody I don't want to talk to, somebody I owe money to. Maybe it's Lucille. Maybe it's Keene Crockett. Maybe it's Frank Loughran. Maybe it's... Hello? It's Lucille. What's she calling me up for? Oh, hello, dear. I wonder if she suspects anything about Patricia. I wonder if she... Well, where have you been? She never comes downtown suddenly like this. Oh, is that so? Well, how was the show? You're a nice girl, Lucille. I like you. I love you, Lucille. I love you better than Patricia. All right. What time? She comes up here to the office and runs into Patricia. 5:30? That'll give me time enough. Oh, I'll meet you, dear. Where'll you be? That's better. I can get out of the office. Too bad for you, Patricia. All right, honey. 5:30 at the Creole Bar. Okay. Goodbye, darling. Still have time to make with Patricia a few minutes before I go. That's all right. Yes, sir, that's all right. It'd be just too bad if Lucille came here. She wouldn't come here, though. She hasn't been in the office in 6 months. Or is it 7 months? 6 or 7 months. She always calls up. Who's this guy? His face is familiar. What's he doing here? Who is he? Who are you, fellow? What do you want from my office? How did you get in? Well, young man, did you want to see me?
Are you John Phillips?
Yes. Who are you? Your face is familiar. I don't know who you are. How did you get in here?
I'm Patricia's brother.
Patricia's brother. Now, what's he going to do? He can't do anything. He does nothing about Patricia. Me. He doesn't know. I didn't do anything. You're Patricia's brother? Well,
I came here to tell you that I want you to let her alone.
No, I'm in for it. He's a big fellow. He'll probably beat me up and my name will be in the paper. I'm afraid I don't understand, young man.
You understand, all right, Mr. Phillips. I want you to let her alone.
If he starts to hit me, I'll stab him with this paper knife. He could beat me. Well, this is, Patricia is... Well, what do you mean? I'm talking like a fool. I never could keep my head when I'm scared. He thinks I'm a fool. I am a fool.
You're married, aren't you, Mr. Phillips?
He knows all about me. He'll beat me up and he'll tell Lucille. Yes, I'm married. What about it? I'll pick up the paper knife.
I don't want any married men running around with my sister. I'm man enough to stop it. Is that plain?
Why, who do you think you are? You think you're going to talk to me like that? You don't know that I've got a gun in my desk. Well, well, you see, this is all very innocent, you know. Patricia and I, well...
I know.
Talking like a fool, like a fool, like a fool.
I'm just warning you, Mr. Phillips. I won't warn you again. Just let me say this. I was welterweight champion of my brigade in the Army. So, take my advice and let Patricia alone.
You'd better not make a pass at me. I'd shoot you. I'd kill you. I'm not going to be beaten up. Well, I'm sorry. I'll talking like a fool, a fool.
That's all. Don't forget.
There isn't anything wrong between Patricia and me. There isn't anything wrong. I've just kissed her a few times. She's a nice girl. I wouldn't harm her. She likes me. We're perfectly innocent. He could beat me up without half trying. I'd kill him, though. I'd have to kill him. It would be self-defense. It would be. Of course it would. It wouldn't do anything to me. Why, you young punk, you've got a lot of nerve coming into my office like that and threatening me. I could have you arrested. I could call up Chief Ostrom and have you put in jail for threatening me. I'm John R. Phillips. Phillips. I know what I'll do. Coming into my office and threatening me when I haven't done a thing. Hello, Patricia? Her brother. What do you know about that? Her brother. I didn't know she had a brother. But Patricia, did you, Did you see the visitor I just had? Probably didn't see him. She wouldn't let him come in. Your brother. Didn't know anything about it. I knew she didn't. Well, he came in to tell me to let you alone. I should have hit him. If I'd have hit him, he'd have probably killed me. No, I'm not kidding. He came in here and told me if I didn't let you alone, he'd beat me up. He could do it, too. Only not if I got the gun first. I'd kill him. Sure, I'd kill him. Wonder what it's like to kill somebody. Wonder. Well, I just thought you'd like to know. Never had anything like that happen to me in all my life. Notoriety. Well, never mind. You love me? I'm an idiot for keeping on with it. I'll get myself in a jam that I can't get out of. Okay. After 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock, he'll probably be waiting for her outside, or maybe he'll come up here. I have to get away quick, too, so I can meet Lucille after 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock. Long until 5 o'clock. Another day finished. I wish Patricia would hurry. I have to get away. I can't make Lucille wait. She'll be suspicious. I wish it wasn't so suspicious always. I wonder if that brother of Patricia's is still outside. I wish she'd come in. Here she comes now. What do I see in her? She's beautiful, but I'd hate to be married to her. Hello, Patsy. The way she eats ice cream, she licks it off the spoon. It makes me sick.
Johnny, what in the world did Tom say?
He said plenty. He scared me to death. Tom? Oh, who's Tom? Oh, your brother. Why, he said I had to let you alone, that's all.
He did? Oh, Johnny, did he threaten you?
Well, he warned me that he'd been welterweight champion of something or other. He said he was welterweight champion of his brigade. How big is a brigade?
Oh, Johnny, he's terrible. He beat a man just awfully, just because the man spoke to me in the streetcar.
Well, he won't beat me, not if I can get to my gun. I guess I'll carry the gun with me in my pocket. Well, you want me to let you alone, darling?
Oh, Johnny.
I wish you'd say yes. I wish you'd say yes to let me alone forever. I wish you. Well, Patsy?
Oh, Johnny.
Cut off that bawling. You look terrible when you bawl. Your face is all screwed up. You make a terrible face. Cut it out. You look terrible. Don't cry, sweetheart. Please don't cry, honey. Bawling like a kid, making awful faces, your mouth open. It looks awful. Women look terrible when they bawl. I wish I'd never seen you. Patricia, stop bawling. Don't cry, honey. It's all right. I guess I'd better let you alone, Patricia, after all. I've got no business loving you. Going on this way, I'm just a fool, I guess. That's a good time. Only trouble is it makes it bawl even more. Will you pipe down? Will you stop that? Shut up. Stop bawling, Patricia. If your brother comes in here now.
I love you so. I can't give you up.
It's just fine. Only, baby, you'd better give me up. This is going to get me in a jam. I know it is. There, Patsy, darling. Stop crying now and kiss me. Come on. Kiss me.
Oh, Johnny.
Why do I do these dumb things? Why don't I say, go on, get out, let me alone? I don't want to get beaten up. I don't care about you, Patricia. I really love Lucille. But you're pretty nice and you kiss nice. Only you're getting lipstick all over me.
Johnny, please. Please don't give me up, will you, Johnny? I love you, Johnny.
Oh, darling. Johnny, I wish you'd stop calling me Johnny. I wish you'd go. I have to go and meet Lucille.
Tom beat you up. I don't know what I'll do, Johnny.
You won't beat me up, sweetheart. Don't you worry. Now, kiss me. I hope he won't beat me up. I guess I can ease out of this all right somehow. I don't know how, but I'll ease out of it. Patricia, you're all right, but I'm not going to play around with any girl with a tough brother. No, sir, not me. Kiss me again, Patsy, darling. I love you. Now, why did I say I love her? I'm crazy. I'm a fool. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't want to say I love you. I don't love you. You're nice, but I don't love you. I don't. I love Lucille. Lucille is probably waiting for me right now.
Oh, John. I love you, too.
Fine mess now. I don't love you. I kind of feel sorry for you, but I don't love you. I don't love you, Patricia. It would be a terrible thing being married to you, and the next thing you'll start talking about divorcing Lucille, and I won't. I love Lucille. The door's opening. Who is it? It's Lucille.
Well, a very pretty little tableau indeed.
Now I'm in a fix. What do I do? I can't explain to Lucille that I don't love Patricia. I can't. What will I do? Oh, God, help me. Please, God, help me. Help me get out of this. Help.
Who is this woman, John?
The way she said woman. Why, Miss Parmalee, Mrs. Phillips. I'm a fool introducing the daughter of the party.
Perhaps you can explain what this is all about, John?
Well, Lucille, well, you see, Miss Parmalee,
I think I can explain, Mrs. Phillips.
Well?
I love Johnny.
She said she loves me. Now what can I do, Lucille? Believe me, please. I don't love her. I don't. Oh, God, please help me out of this.
How very interesting. And Johnny loves you, I take it?
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't love her. I love you, Lucille.
Yes, he loves me, too.
I do not love you. I love Lucille.
Is this true, John?
Yes. I love her, Lucille. I do not. I lied. I'm a fool. Why did I say that?
You really love this little tramp, John.
Who are you calling a tramp? You can't.
I called you a tramp, young woman.
I'll scratch you out.
No,
I will scratch you.
I hated it, Lucille. She got me into this mess. Oh, stop. Stop it, Lucille. Patricia, stop it. Stop it, I say. Now stop this, both of you. Lucille, let go of her, Patricia. Now, sit down here, both of you. Won't do either of you any good, right?
John, my dress is all torn.
That dreadful green dress, I'm glad it's torn. Lucille beat you up pretty well. Lucille's a good scrapper. Nice work, Lucille. It's all right, darling. Now, sit down here. Darling, I'm a fool. I don't like you. I don't.
I'm sorry I lost my temper, Miss Parmalee. I'm sorry.
I hate you.
Oh, shut up. Don't you talk, Lucille. Now, Patricia, darling, please.
Oh,
John, how long has this been going on?
It's been going on for a long time. We love each other.
We do not. She just thinks she loves me, and I don't love her at all. I don't, Lucille. I don't.
Oh, I see.
No, you don't see, Lucille. You don't see.
I suppose you want me to divorce John, then, so you and he can be married?
Oh, Lucille, don't divorce me. What'll I do without you? What'll I do? Please, Lucille, don't divorce me. Why, I love you, Lucille. We love each other.
Is that right, Miss?
Yes, that's right.
Don't listen to her, Lucille. Don't listen to her, please. Don't listen to her, Lucille. I don't want to marry her.
What do you think, John?
I don't want to divorce Lucille. I don't want anything but you. Oh, no, Lucille. Please, Lucille. Don't. Well, it's up to you, Lucille. Why did I say that? Why did I? No, don't divorce me, Lucille. I can't live without you. I'll die, Lucille. I'll die without you if I could only explain. Who's that? I bet it's your brother. I knew he'd come up here. Oh, why did this have to happen to you? Oh, go away. Please go away.
You better go to the door, John.
I can't go to the door. Oh, Lucille, I can't. Oh, Lucille, I love you.
Patricia here?
I knew he'd come. I knew it. Now it's going to start all over again. What can I do? Yes, she's here. Come in.
Patricia, I've come to take you home.
She'll only go with him if she'll just go with him and go away from here.
I won't go with you, John.
Go with him, Patricia, and never come back.
And who is this, may I ask?
I'm Patricia's brother. I don't know who you are.
I'm Mrs. Phillips.
Now he'll tell her that he came up here and warned me this afternoon. It'll be worse than ever. Oh, why did this have to happen to me? Oh, why did it?
You seem to have stepped in on a very pleasant little scene, Mrs. Phillips. You have my sympathy.
Thank you. You knew about this, I take it?
Yes. Come on, Patricia.
I think Patricia prefers to remain here.
Oh, Lucille, please, Lucille, don't. I love you, Lucille. Let him take her. Go on, get out. Both of you, get out.
Patricia, we're getting out of this. We're going home.
No, I'm going to stay right here. You can't make me go, Tom.
Yes, you can. You're her brother. Make her go. I'll go crazy. I'll go crazy. I know I will. I can't stand this. I can't. Oh, please make her go.
Mrs. Phillips, I'm sorry. My sister...
Go on, take her. Make her go with you. Make her go. Make her go. Please take her away. Please do. Lucille, make him take her away. Make him take her.
I know. It's all right. Only it seems to be rather complicated.
Come on, Patricia.
You let me alone.
I won't do it. Take her away. Make her go with you. Go on. Let her alone there, Tom.
Phillips, I don't know why I don't beat you within an inch of your worthless life.
If you make a move, I'll get the pistol out of the desk and kill you. I'll kill you, all of you. You and your sister and Lucille and myself. I'll kill you all.
Tom, I don't think that would do a great deal of good.
No, I suppose it wouldn't.
Well, John, we might as well talk this out. No use going and saying, as we did a few moments ago. There must be a way out. Sit down.
Oh, Lucille, if I could only explain to you, if I could only tell you, but you wouldn't believe me. I can't tell you.
I don't think there's anything to talk about. You simply have to divorce him.
No, Lucille. Don't listen to her. I don't want to marry her. I don't want her.
Sit down, John.
Oh, Lucille, you've always helped me. Please get me out of this. Please do, Lucille. I love you. Please get me out of it. Dear God, please help Lucille. Get me out of this. Please, God.
Now, Mr. Parmalee, is it? You're sure you want John badly enough to take him away from you?
She can't have me, Lucille. She can't have me. If you divorce me, Lucille, I'll kill myself. I will. I'll die. I can't live without you, Lucille. Oh, Lucille, you know me so well. You love me, Lucille. This girl is nothing to me. Lucille, don't forget me, Lucille. Don't forget how we loved each other all the time in school.
I'm perfectly sure. You've got to divorce him.
You won't let me go, Lucille. You won't just throw me away. I wish I had a cigarette. Where are the cigarettes? They're in the desk drawer. Cigarettes. Oh, there's the pistol. Lucille, if you throw me away, if you divorce me, you'll kill me. I'll take the pistol and blow my brains out. I wonder what it feels like to blow my brains out. I wonder. I'll find out if you let me go, Lucille. I'll kill myself. I will.
Mrs. Phillips, Patricia's too young to know exactly what she does want. She's a flighty kid. She doesn't really love your husband. He's just... well, fascinating to her because, well, he's a successful businessman and...
Successful businessman? If this gets into the papers, I'll be a successful businessman. I'll be a fool. I am a fool. Oh, why does this have to happen to me? It can't happen to me. It's a dream.
I don't care what Tom says about me, Mrs. Phillips. He thinks I'm just a baby, but I'm old enough to know my own mind.
You're a fool, too, Patricia. We're all fools. I don't want you. Oh, Lucille, look at me. Lucille, please look at me. I love you, Lucille. If you'll just look at me, you'll know I love you. Please, Lucille.
John isn't the easiest person in the world to get along with, young woman.
You got along with me, Lucille. I know I'm hard to get along with. I'm crazy and I'm crazy, but you love me. You love me enough to fight over me. You got along with me. You're the wisest person in the world. You love me, Lucille.
I don't care. I love him and I'm going to marry him.
No, you're not. If Lucille won't have me, I'll kill myself. I think I'll kill myself with a pistol in the desk drawer. I will.
Well, let's ask John about it. John, you really and truly love this girl?
No, I don't love her, Lucille. I don't love her. I say, Lucille, I love you.
John?
Of course you love me, Johnny, darling.
Yes, I said it again. Something's the matter with my head. I can't think. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm going crazy. Oh, what have I done? I've lost you, Lucille. I've lost you, dearest. Lucille, I can't talk. I'm crazy. My head is all wrong. I don't know what's the matter with you. Lucille, if you could only see my thoughts, if you only could know how I love you. I can't stand this. I can't.
This is all very painful, Mrs. Phillips.
If you'd only take your sister and take her away from here and let them talk to Lucille, I could make Lucille understand. Oh, Lucille, don't look at me like that. Lucille, if you'd only come over here to me and put your hand on my shoulder, everything would be all right. You'd understand. Patricia,
Oh, Johnny, darling.
Sit down, Patricia.
That's right. Make her sit down. She's a fool. Oh, what am I going to do? What can I do? What, Lucille, dearest? What?
Miss Parmalee, I've loved John a great deal.
Oh, Lucille, you love me now. You don't want to lose me. I know what you're thinking. Lucille, you're giving me up because you love me. You want me to be happy. Oh, Lucille, I've never been good enough for you. You're the most wonderful woman in the world. I love you, Lucille. I love you.
But I'm afraid I love him a great deal.
Lucille, darling, why can't we go all this business and then you and I can go home? We're going to play bridge tonight. Come on, let's quit pretending. It's like a play. Take Patricia out of here, Tom. Take her away.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't help loving him, Mrs. Phillips. It's terrible, I know, but I do love him.
Oh, God, what will I do? What can I do?
I know. Well, John, I suppose you can see Carl Veldy about the divorce. I'm sorry it had to be this way.
Lucille, you can't do this. You can't. You're not going to let me go. You're not going to divorce me. Lucille, Lucille, I'll kill myself. The pistol's right here in the drawer. I'll shoot myself. I've got to, Lucille. I won't let you go. No, I won't, Lucille. Lucille, I'll kill myself, Lucille. Lucille, don't you see I love you? It's no use. Let's do it. Oh, I'm afraid to. I'm afraid to die. I can't go on living without you. I can't. Put down that gun. No, I won't, Tom. Goodbye, Lucille. Goodbye, baby. I've done it. I don't feel any different. Blood all over.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh, Lucy. Lucy. I love you, Lucy. I'll love you always, Lucy.
Yes. Oh, Johnny, darling. You.
Patricia, Pat.
He did it because of you, Mrs. Phil. Oh, I'll get even.
Oh, Lucy. Where did you come from, Lucy? Oh, Lucy, I love you.
I know you love me, John. I love you. That's why I had to give you up. I love you, John. I love you.
We'll always be together. Won't we, Lucy?
Johnny, I can't go on without you. Oh, Johnny.
Pat, please. No, Pat, don't.
Goodbye, Tom. I'm sorry it's such a mess.
Lucille, I love you. Love you. I've never loved anybody but you.
Johnny, I'm here. I'm with you, Johnny. I love you. I love you.
Oh, no. Patricia. Lucille. Where are you, Lucille? Now it's got to start all over again. All over again. Over again.
John, dear. Aren't you going to wake up?
What? Where am I?
You're in bed, darling.
Huh?
Where did you think you were?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I was dreaming. Is it really you, Lucille? You're really here. There's nobody with you.
Of course not, silly. Who in the world would be with me? Hurry up now and get dressed. I'll have your breakfast ready.
Oh, yeah. Breakfast.
Scrambled eggs and bacon, too. Don't you go back to sleep now. You'll be an hour late getting to the office as it is. I'll see you downstairs.
All right, honey. Oh, boy, what a dream. Hello, this is John Phillips. Will you connect me with my secretary, please? Hello, Patricia. This is Mr. Phillips. No, not Johnny. Mr. Phillips. I won't be down to the office today, but in the meantime, I want you to go to the cashier and get your check. You're fired.
Radio Set. And now, stay tuned for the program that has rated tops in popularity for a longer period of time than any other West Coast program in radio history. The Signal Oil program, The Whistler. Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, The Whistler's strange story. A Matter of Time.
With Russ Logan, time was of the essence. He'd always been a most meticulous man. Minutes meant money, and appointments to his way of thinking were made to be kept. Through the years, you've become even more so, haven't you, Russ? You're careful, almost calculating, and certainly ever alert for opportunity. Despite the kidding you've taken from your business partner, Jim Kendrick, and even your wife, Jean, precision and time in all matters have remained almost an obsession. Tonight, riding with Jean and Kendrick in his big chauffeur-driven car, you sit very quietly, grimly amused that a matter of carefully planned minutes will mean another opportunity to you. And a thin smile of anticipation crosses your lips as the car swings in the winding drive of Jim Kendrick's home in Coldwater Canyon.
Rusty, you're awfully quiet. Restaurant food disagree with you?
Russ, your wife's talking to you. Sorry, Jim.
Penny for your thoughts.
I think you've been dreaming about everything we've been saying. I'm sorry. Maybe if we get onto the subject of nightcap. How about it?
Sounds good to me, Jim.
You see, Jean, we've hit on something that interests your lord and master.
A nightcap will pick us all up.
Sure. Oh, stop right here, Nick. Yes, sir. Here, let me give you a hand now. You can put the car in the garage, Nick. Mr. and Mrs. Logan have their own car. All right, Mr. Kendrick. Well, come on, folks.
Now, you see, Russ is looking at his watch again. Afraid you'll miss an appointment in the morning, darling?
What's the matter? Russ, with all your clock watching, you'd think you weren't a member of the firm.
Jim, I keep telling you, you ought to rig up a time clock for Russ. Let him punch in every morning.
Okay.
You don't mind the kidding, do you, Russ? Not in the least. And you've a reason for glancing at your watch. The seconds are counting again, aren't they? In your life, and more particularly in your partner, Jim Kendrick's. If he only knew what was about to happen, he'd be watching every moment, too. You're all inside the house now, and you have only to wait until you hear Nick, the chauffeur, come in the back door to enter his room. Then you can set your plan in motion. But something unexpected happened.
I got a little surprise for you folks. Some fine old Napoleon brandy.
Oh?
Let's see now. Oh, yes, I got it locked up in the den. Wait right here, I'll get it.
Wait a minute, Jim.
Yes, Russ?
Nothing. It was just something I was going to ask you.
Go ahead, ask me.
Oh, never mind. It'll keep till tomorrow.
Okay, I'll go get the brandy.
Jim!
Jim, what happened? In the den. He's still there. Get him.
But, Jim, you've been hit.
Get him, I said. Go after him, Russ.
I'll take care of him, Russ. Here, Jim, lie down on the divan board. I'll call a doctor.
Hurry up, Russ. He went out the French windows. Don't just stand there.
Where do you keep that gun you have?
In the desk in the den. Will you hurry up?
Sure. Jane, you call the police. I'll get him, Jim. Don't worry.
It's infuriating, isn't it, Russ, that everything had to be spoiled by a simple break in the routine. Jim's surprise, the bottle of Napoleon brandy. It sent him into the den before you wanted your plan to go into effect, before Nick, the chauffeur, had time to get inside the house to his room. And now, racing around the side of the house, You hope that Nick hasn't caught the killer. You're furious that things didn't go according to schedule. And now you can only hope as you rush to the spot, far back on the property, where you're to meet the man who fired on Jim Kendrick. You promised him you'll hide him away, haven't you, Russ? Yes, that's what you promised. But actually, you're going to use the gun in your hand and put him away forever. At the designated spot near a huge pepper tree, you wait. Listen for his footsteps. Raise the gun and aim in the direction of the sound. And then...
Mr. Logan? Mr. Logan?
Nick.
Oh, I think he's trapped, sir, up in the canyon. Mrs. Logan says the police are on their way.
You're terrified now, aren't you, Russ? It's going all wrong. They'll capture the gunman and he'll talk, implicate you. When the police arrive, they close in around the canyon in back of Jim Kendrick's place. Nick stays close to you as you join the search. Finally, you hear the shouted words that you fear the most.
Over here, everybody! We got him! We got the guy!
Now a word about the chilly nights and mornings we've been having. To be sure your car will spring to life pronto when you touch the starter, you naturally want a gasoline that's engineered to help your engine perform efficiently. But how can you, Mr. or Mrs. Average Motorist, measure how efficiently your engine is running? Well, the easiest way is by the mileage you get, which explains why we're so proud of Signal's good mileage. Mileage that has made Signal known throughout the West, from Canada to Mexico, as the Go Farther gasoline. After all, there's only one way Signal can give such good mileage, and that's by helping your engine run so efficiently you save gasoline. Save gasoline with quick starting. Save gasoline with smooth pickup. Save gasoline with full power. And, of course, the more gasoline you save, the more mileage you enjoy. So there you have it in a nutshell, friends. The reason why mileage is the best yardstick to measure gasoline efficiency and driving pleasure. The reason why so many smart motorists today are switching to Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline.
Well, Russ, you knew it. Everything was ruined the moment your neatly timed schedule was broken. A bottle of Napoleon brandy. If it hadn't been for that, Jim Kendrick wouldn't have entered the den quite so soon. There would have been time for Nick, his chauffeur, to have returned to the house. And the gunman you had hiding in the den would have had time to get away and reach the spot outside the house where he was to meet you without being seen by Nick. But it's gone wrong all the way. And now it seems the gunman has been caught. You haven't even a chance to run for it because of the presence of the police.
Well, we've got him, Mr. Logan. Fine. Fast worker. And the chauffeur here got a good look at him when he ran out of the house. Says you can identify him. Is that the man there? That's him. How about it, Nick?
Hey, wait a minute.
What is it, Nick?
He's not the guy.
What?
He's not the guy. Officer, he's not the one. You got the wrong man.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. I got a good look at him.
Oh. Sorry, mister. You can go. Guess we made a mistake. All right, spread out, boys, and get going. We got the wrong guy.
It's almost too good to be true, isn't it, Russ? That your gunman escaped. Somehow evaded Jim Kendrick's chauffeur, Nick, and the police. And for the moment, at least, you're in the clear again. But you're still worried, aren't you? Nick said he got a very good look at the gunman. Maybe he'll realize soon that he's seen him before. And he might remember where. The little bar near your office. That's where you planned it all, isn't it, Russ? Yes. When the police leave and you're back inside Jim Kendrick's house, you learn from your wife that your partner's wounds are not serious.
He's going to be all right, Russ. They took him to the hospital in a police ambulance, but the doctor said he wouldn't have to stay there long.
Well, we better get on home, Jim.
All right. As long as Jim's okay. Whoever did it got away, I guess.
Yeah, he got away. You run on up to the apartment, Gene. I'll put the car away.
Don't be long, dear.
I won't. Frankie, what are you doing here?
Where else would I go? What went wrong? I thought you said
I
chauffeur...
know what I said. Kendrick went in there sooner than I expected. I couldn't stop him.
That chauffeur saw me. I know he did.
Yes, he saw you. Gave the police a description, too.
Look, you said you'd hide me out.
I would have. Things had gone right, but I can't hide you in my apartment. I've got a wife, Frankie. A wife who doesn't even know I'm mixed up in this.
But the cops, they start working on the description that chauffeur gave them. It'll add up to Frankie Rizzo. Me.
Take it easy.
Well, that's all right for you to say. You got me into this, said there'd be nothing to it. A simple job.
That's right. It would have been if you'd killed him. That's what you were paid to do.
But let's
Skip
not...
it. I thought you knew what you were doing. I thought I was hiring a professional.
So, what do we do now?
Maybe that's your problem.
Oh. No, you're in this. You did the hiring.
Well, I'll help you get out of town, that's all.
I can't skip town. Not tonight. They'll be watching for me. The police. They'll have the airports covered, every railroad station. Fine mess. Wish you'd never picked me for this job. I wish you'd never even found me.
I went to a great deal of trouble finding you, Frankie, a great deal. I've never known anyone in your business before, and it took me quite a while.
So what happens
Don't
now?
get excited, that's all. I'm not letting you spoil everything. Yeah, get into my car. I'll drive you someplace.
I got a pretty good hideout. There's a motel near the ocean.
A motel? Good. I'll take you there. Wait in the car. I'll tell my wife you've gone someplace and that I have to take you there.
You have to help him, don't you, Russ? Even though you're disgusted with the way he handled the shooting. You tell Jean that you've decided to pick up a carton of cigarettes. A few minutes later, you're driving out Wilshire with Frankie Rizzo. He directs you to the Surfside Motel on the beach. You leave him there, return to your own apartment, answer Jean's sleepy inquiries with the alibi of a flat tire. When you finally turn in, there's little sleep for you, is there, Russ? You're tense and nervous, dreading the moment when you'll have to face your partner, Jim Kendrick, again. And that moment comes the following morning as you visit the hospital and stand at his bedside. Jim greets you with a curious smile on his lips.
Hello, Russ. Nice of you to come.
Good morning, Jim. How do you feel?
Just fine. They tell me I'm going to live.
Of course you are.
Too bad, isn't it, Russ?
What?
Would have solved all your problems if I'd kicked off, huh? Given you control of the business, too.
Oh, what in the world are you talking about?
That little deal you approached me with 2 weeks ago.
Deal?
Come off it, Russ. We disagreed, remember, on that little transaction which you thought our freight line would fit into so neatly?
Well, you want me to drive business away from now on?
If it's crooked, yes. Even if it means 50,000 profit. I won't stand for our trucks accepting a contract to haul contraband. I told you 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you again now. As long as I'm a partner in this outfit, we're keeping it clean.
Okay, Jim. Forget it. I have. That's why I didn't know what you were talking about. The moment we disagreed, I dismissed it from my mind.
Really?
Of course.
Funny. Maybe I misjudged you, Russ. I actually found myself wondering if that little shooting at the house didn't just have something to do with your plan.
That's too ridiculous to dignify with a knock.
So we won't argue.
The man who was in your study was obviously after the safe, not you. You just made the mistake of walking in there. I certainly didn't suggest it.
No, you didn't. Matter of fact, you stopped me. Why? What was it you were going to ask me about at that time?
I have no idea.
No, I don't suppose you have. All right, we won't settle anything this way. Maybe when the police pick this guy up.
I wish they had him right now. Certainly don't like any feeling of mistrust between you. Jim, it isn't good for business.
No, it isn't. Nick, my chauffeur thinks he's seen this man before. I mean, before last night.
Oh. Might give the police a lead, huh?
Might, Russ. It just might.
He say where he'd seen him?
Yeah, down at the gym Nick goes to. It's the same guy as a cheap gambler named Rico or Reno, something like that. And it just might take a pot shot at somebody for money, provided the right sort of person talked him into it. Assured him it would be an easy setup, no danger.
Well, Nick ought to tell the police about all this.
Oh, he has. Yeah, Nick's told the police. Good boy, Nick. Very loyal. Well, sit down, Russ. Sit down. Visit a while.
Yes. Sure, Jim. Sure.
You struggle to control the nervousness, the fear that builds within you, don't you, Russ? Try to chat casually with Jim about the business during the next few minutes. He knows, doesn't he, Russ? Yes, you're certain Jim knows you hired someone to kill him. You're glad when your visit comes to an end. You hurry out of the hospital and back to your office. Then that afternoon, there's a phone call for you.
Hello, Logan speaking.
Hello, pal. Look, this place is giving me the willies. I want to get out of town.
You listened to me last night.
Okay. So now I'm taking your advice.
Look, Frankie, I'd rather talk this over in person. I'll be out there in about half an hour, okay?
Okay. Yeah, Logan. $10,000 ought to make a nice start.
$10,000? Now, wait a minute.
Sure, I know. $5,000 was all you promised, but the price has just gone up.
But you made a deal.
Since then, I decided to retire. And a guy who retires has got to have capital and an income. You're it, pal. Or else.
Or else what?
Well, Jim Kendrick might like to know who wanted to have him knocked off and why. Well, what do you say?
All right, Frankie, you win. I'll pick you up here as soon as it gets dark.
After you leave Frankie, you return to your office, sit for nearly an hour thinking things out, and finally you reach a decision. By the time you arrive at your apartment, you know exactly what you're going to do.
Jane?
I'm in the bedroom, Russ. Oh, Mary, aren't you, darling?
Yeah. You going out?
Uh-huh. Dal and I are going over to Westwood to a cocktail party at Miss Taylor's. Oh, mind fixing your own drink, Russ? I'm rushing.
I think I'll skip the cocktail.
Oh. Headache?
Yeah, sort of. Short enough to fix it.
Oh, darling, before you get yourself comfortable, do you mind doing something for me? Run down to Sally's apartment.
What for?
Well, she's loaning me a pair of stockings to match my new dress. I couldn't get the shade I wanted.
Okay, I'll go. Oh, Gene.
Yes?
How long you going to be gone?
Oh, I don't know. A couple of hours.
Well, you haven't forgotten we're going to the Andersons for dinner tonight. They're expecting us at 8, and I don't...
You don't want to be late. I know. I'll be back by 7:30 or so.
Well, never mind the or so. Make it 7:30 sharp. I'll meet you down in the lobby.
You're pleased that Jean will be out of the apartment for 2 hours, aren't you, Russ? But you've still something else to solve. The little item of how you're going to leave the building without being seen. It comes to you when you reach Stella's apartment, 2 floors below. Yes. Standing in her living room, looking out over the rear garden, everything falls neatly into place in your mind. Her sunroom window opens on the rear fire escape. Stella lives alone, and since she'll be at the cocktail party with your wife, her apartment will be empty. You chat with Stella for a few moments. Then as you leave her apartment, you slip the catch on the lock of her door. You know that she might check it as she leaves, but you have to take that chance. You hurry back upstairs.
Here you are, Jean.
Oh, thanks, darling. Is Stella waiting?
She's all right. Just finished putting on her face.
Oh, dear. Go on, say it. I'm never on time.
It's your party this time. Just don't be late for the dinner.
I won't.
I think I'll stretch out for a while.
All right, darling. I'll be on my way.
Oh, Jean.
Yes?
On your way out with Stella, tell the clerk downstairs I don't want to be disturbed. There are no phone calls.
I'll tell him, darling.
You pretend to drop off to sleep. 5 minutes later, Jean leaves you alone in the apartment. You glance out the bedroom window. It'll be dark in another half hour, won't it, Russ? Dark enough to cover your movement down the back fire escape, through the garden. It's 6:55 exactly when you again slip into Stella's apartment. Hurry down the fire escape and then to your car parked in the street. 10 minutes later, you arrive at the Surfside Motel. You're thankful for the roar of the nearby surf, as it will help cover the sound of guns.
Yeah, who is it?
How about it, Frankie?
Hello, Russ. You got the money?
No. I don't have the money, Frankie.
Huh? Look, I thought I was going to take a little trip.
You are going on a trip. How long?
Hey, what's the idea of the rod?
Rod? Oh. The idea of the rod, Frankie, is this.
As Frankie Rizzo crumbles to the floor, you whirl and race back to your car parked in the alley. You're about to pull away when a police car stops in front of the motel. 2 officers get out, followed by Nick, Jim's chauffeur. You watch as they stroll toward the motel office. Then when they're out of sight... A lucky break, wasn't it, Russ? If you'd been only a minute later, they'd have caught you. But now you're in the clear, racing back to your own apartment. It's 25 minutes after 7 when you slip back into the building through Stella's apartment. You sprint upstairs to your own floor, take the elevator from there to the lobby. Chat for a moment with the desk clerk until Jean arrives.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling, but really I'm only a few minutes late.
See what I mean, Fred? Women. Never on time.
Oh, I know I'm late, dear. That's why Stella let me out in front.
Don't be too hard on Mrs. Logan, sir. It's only 7:32. Why, if it was my wife, well, she always does... Excuse me. I'm Lieutenant Weston, homicide. I'm looking for a Mr. Logan. Russell.
Mr. Logan? Why...
I'm Logan. What is it, Lieutenant? I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Go on. In private. Let's go up to my apartment. Do you mind my wife? No. Come along, Mr. Logan. I'll ring the elevator. What's this all about, Lieutenant? The girl seems being questioned me, Mr. Logan. Where were you this evening between 7 and 7:30? In my apartment. Came home this afternoon around 5. His wife and I were just about to leave the building when you walked in. You see? You were here then since 5? The desk clerk will verify that. Only way out of the building is through a safe lock. Of course, there's always fire. So our apartment and fire escape are on the front of the building. I could hardly leave the building that way without being seen. Yeah, I wish you'd tell me. Nothing to get worried about, Mr. Logan. As I said, it's just routine. We have to follow up all leads. You got what? Murder.
Murder? Oh, wow.
We've been checking on a man named Frank Rizzo. Your partner's chauffeur, Nick Bemis, thought Rizzo was the man who took a shot at his boss. I still don't see where that... We checked all of Rizzo's old hideouts. The Surfside Motel. Only when we got there, he'd been shot. Well, shouldn't you be discussing this with my partner? Rizzo had your phone number scribbled on a piece of paper, both your home and office line. That's why we came here first, Mr. Logan.
Going up, Mr. Logan?
Oh, yes.
Lieutenant, this is ridiculous. I was in my apartment all afternoon since 5 o'clock. You can check with the desk clerk and the elevator boy.
That's right, officer. I just took Mr. Logan down a little while ago.
This way. Our apartment is just...
I don't think I'll hold you there longer.
Very well, Lieutenant. I'm sorry I was brought to handle that way, but... well, as long as we're up here, how about having drinks?
Oh, thanks. But if you don't mind, I would like to use your phone. I want to put in a call to headquarters. Then I'll be on my way.
Don't mind at all, Lieutenant. Come here.
The cheapest automobile battery you can buy is the battery that costs the least per month. And when it comes to low cost per month, none can beat the new Signal Deluxe battery. The extra long life battery guaranteed a full 30 months on a service basis. One reason Signal Deluxe batteries deliver trouble-free service for such a long time is their micro-porous all-rubber separators, which have been called the greatest battery improvement in 20 years because they permit freer flow of acid between the plates, yet are not affected by the action of the acid. These unique plates help Signal Deluxe batteries deliver up to 35% more power to take care of the many electrical gadgets on today's cars. Also, you don't need to add water as often to the new Signal Deluxe battery because of the improved design all-rubber case. What more could a battery buyer ask, unless it's a generous trade-in allowance for his old battery, which Signal dealers are now giving, or convenient credit terms, which are available. So any way you look at it, you'll find your best battery buy at a Signal service station. It's the long, long life battery that guarantees you low cost per month. The new Signal Deluxe battery.
You've answered the lieutenant's questions, and he seems satisfied with your story, doesn't he, Bob? That you were in your apartment between 7 and 7:30 at the time when Frankie Rizzo was shot to death in Santa Monica. Yes, you're certain you're in the clear now, as you, your wife, Jean, and the lieutenant walk down the corridor to your apartment door.
Come on in, Lieutenant.
Why, Russ, that sounds like the electric alarm clock in the bedroom.
The alarm.
I said it before I left. I was afraid you'd oversleep, but I know how fussy you are about being late.
I'll turn it on.
Just a minute, Mr. Logan. I'll do that.
I've got it, Lieutenant.
I'll take it. Just you go, friend. I thought you said you were here in your apartment between 7 and 7:30, Mr. Logan.
Why, yes.
This electric alarm clock was set to 7 o'clock. It's been ringing ever since.
Right.
Well, how do you explain it, Mr. Logan?
Why, look, Lieutenant.
I can explain it, Logan. Because you weren't here to turn it off.
Now, wait a minute. I told you...
I think you better come down to headquarters after all. A hand paraffin test will tell us if you fired a gun recently. And if you have, we've found our man.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at the same time. Meantime, Signal Oil Company and the friendly independent dealers who help you go farther with Signal gasoline hope you'll remember. Regardless of what gasoline you use, you'll enjoy more miles of happy driving if you drive at sensible speeds, obey traffic regulations, and avoid taking chances. You may even save a life. Possibly your own. Featured in tonight's story were Bill Foreman as the Whistler, Ted DeCorsia, Margaret Brayton, Ed Begley, Raymond Burr, Herbert Litton, and Bill Boucher. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Adrian John Doe, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Remember to tune in at this same time next Sunday, when the Signal Oil Company will bring you another strange story by The Whistler. Marvin Miller speaking for the Signal Oil Company. Stay tuned now for our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is the CBS Radio Network.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London. The Black Museum, the famous repository of death. Here, in the grim stone structure on the Thames, which houses Scotland Yard, is a warehouse of homicide.
were everyday objects. An earthenware pot, a silver shilling, a typewriter ribbon, all are touched by murder. 4 small bottles. Other familiar objects, medicine bottles, shining glass, cork stoppered, the labels in neat, clear handwriting. Such bottles are in the medicine cabinet of almost every home. These were found...
Found one, Inspector. 2-ounce size.
Yeah, the others can't be far.
Yes, here are 2 more. 1 ounce capacity, these. And here's the 4th. Innocent little things, aren't they, sir?
Well, today, those 4 small bottles have a place, a very honored place, in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum.
Here we are, Black Museum. Scotland Yard's Museum of Murder. Yes, here lies death. In these hundreds and hundreds of objects, large and small, is the means to death, 1,000 methods of killing, all neatly labeled to indicate who and what and where and when. Here's a kitchen mop. Long handle, it's gray with use, gray where the red-brown stain fails to cover the grayness. Look closely at the harsh metal that binds the strings of this utensil. Yes, this blade struck, and struck again before the mop itself removed the traces of the crime. Here we are. Here are 4 small bottles. 3 of 1 ounce capacity. 1 holds 2 ounces. They mark a strange story. A story out of the Edwardian era, when man was still lord of all he surveyed and women were just beginning to demand equality.
To the ladies, Reverend. Although I would prefer toasting them in something slightly stronger than tea.
To the ladies, my friend.
To listen to my husband, Reverend, you think he was old-fashioned and not an advanced thinker for this age.
I, an advanced thinker? Why,
But you are, Oscar. You really are.
At the risk of shocking you, Reverend, but then you're a young man, and not, I assume, as easily shocked as some pastors I've known. I believe a man should have 2 wives. Really, sir?
He means it, Reverend. Listen to him.
I believe a man needs 2 wives. One to cook, sew, and care for the household. The other, to be a companion when a man needs intellectual stimulation, to lend beauty to the drawing room, and grace and wit.
Then you would give the latter education.
Exactly. And since I am not allowed 2 wives, I chose the latter. You're new here, Reverend. You don't know that I married Anne when she was very young and sent her to Brussels and then a French university for her education before installing her here as my wife.
Why, that's unheard of, sir. You are a pioneer in the field, Mr.
Oh, yes, Mr. Oscar Stone, wholesale grocer and a man of means, was truly advanced for his age, the age of 99, and very liberal in his philosophies. In fact, he was so considerate of his wife and of the difference between her age and his own that he encouraged rather than looked askance at her companionship with the Reverend Edgar Sweet, a much, much younger man than Mr. Stone himself.
Edgar, you've been a good friend to me this past month.
I'm happy to hear you say so, Anne.
That is why, well, I'm not hesitating to tell you something which I feel is rather unfair.
Tell me what it is.
Oscar has drawn his will.
Oh, he's my friend, my good friend. I'd hate to see him pass on, but every man must have his house in order.
Edgar, you don't understand. Making the will is all right. It's what he's put in it.
Go on, my dear.
He has left me his entire estate, provided I never marry again.
That is his right, you know.
It's not his right. He's afraid someone might marry me after he's gone. For the money.
He's only protecting you from fortune hunters, Anne.
Then why did he give me an education if he doesn't think enough of me to let me protect myself?
A serpent in Eden? Perhaps not. But it is clear that the young lady had a will of her own and wanted to control her own destiny. In any case, the friendship ripened, not only between the two young people, but between Edgar and Oscar as well.
Edgar, my friend, I'm not well. I saw a doctor today, and I am not well.
I can't believe it. You look fine. Fine.
The debilitation of age.
But you're not old. Well, 55 isn't old.
When you've worked as hard as I have for almost 50 of those 55 years. Well, in any case, I've decided to take a rest.
Excellent, Oscar. That's what you need. An extended vacation.
I've made arrangements to go to the shore. A month at the sea ought to practically, well, rejuvenate me.
I'll miss you. Our talks have been a great stimulus to my work.
And I thought that, well, even pastors have vacations occasionally.
Occasionally we do.
Of course. So I reserved accommodations for you, along with Anne and myself.
But I can't possibly afford...
As my guest.
You don't know how much I appreciate this, Oscar, but I couldn't accept this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were alone, Oscar.
I'm glad you came in, Andy. I was telling Edgar we're going to the shore for a month.
Oh, Oscar, how nice.
I'm insisting that Edgar come along as my guest.
How can I accept such an invitation?
Tell him you will find him as welcome as I will, Anne.
Of course I'll find him welcome, Oscar. Edgar knows that.
They compromised. Edgar came for weekends. The ripening of a friendship. Or the growth of a triangle. A classic triangle. Husband, wife, and the young man. The summer ended. Oscar and Anne returned to new lodgings in Pimlico, and they took an additional room.
Edgar, you like it?
Bookcases, a couch, a fine desk, all this room. How could I help liking it?
And in here, right next door.
Edgar, my boy, welcome to your new lodgings. Now, we are not only friends, we are neighbors.
Really, Oscar, I don't know why you...
But there was more, and rather interesting. One afternoon, while Oscar was at his doctor's office.
May I disturb you for a moment, Edgar?
Oh, of course, Anne. What is it?
Remember, months ago, I told you about Oscar's will.
Oh, yes, I remember. Why?
He took out that awful clause. If I want to, I can marry anyone I please one day. And you were the executor.
Everything was quite smooth. Quite smooth. In fact, Oscar began to feel quite a bit better. At least he said so, and insisted that Edgar and Anne accompany him to a horse show.
Why do you love horses so, Oscar?
Perhaps because I always wanted to ride and never learned. Oh, there's a fine animal.
He must be at least 16 hands high.
Edgar, why don't you take Anne to the stalls to see her favorites? I'll just sit here a while. I guess I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
Will you, Edgar, please?
You think you'll be all right here alone, Oscar?
It's a picture, isn't it? The elderly husband sitting on the bench watching the two young people stroll away. What are his thoughts as he sees them disappear in the crowd? What would his thoughts have been if he'd heard their conversation?
I'm dreadfully worried about Oscar.
He seems much better. Seashore did him good.
Seems was the word. He's not really.
Anne, what are you telling me?
That his doctor has confided to me. Oscar may not live out the year.
The next morning there were signs that Anne's words might become the truth. She sent for the doctor, a youngish man named Richards, who lived some half a mile from the lodgings.
I don't like this, Mrs. Stone, not at all.
Oh, dear.
You stop frightening my wife, young man.
The truth, sir, the truth. You're not well. Your stomach's in very bad shape. Now, I will prescribe for you, and your wife will see that you take your medicine. Won't you, Mrs. Stone?
Oh, of course, Doctor.
The young doctor was very certain, but not Oscar. His pain continued. Anne was obviously very upset. She took Edgar aside.
Edgar, I want you to do something for me.
If I can.
I cannot see Oscar suffer the way he does at times. I know a way to ease his pain, but I need your help.
Of course.
I want you to buy me some chloroform.
Chloroform?
Yes. A few drops on a handkerchief, and he will sleep easily. I learned about it in the practical nursing classes in Brussels.
Dr. Richards will get you some.
No. You'll never believe I know how to use it. Here's a £1 note. Please, Edgar.
Edgar went to the nearest chemist shop.
What can I do for you, Reverend?
I'd like a little chloroform.
Whatever for, sir?
I understand it's good for taking out grease spots.
Oh, yes, I suppose it is. But be very careful with it.
3 more times, Edgar walked into chemist shops and bought a small amount of chloroform. There are the 3 1-ounce bottles and the 1 2-ounce bottle. Out of consideration for Anne's convenience, no doubt, Edgar poured the contents of all the small bottles into a larger one and delivered the chloroform to Anne. Quite suddenly, Oscar became a whole lot better.
Landlord, I want to speak with the landlord.
Yes, Mrs. Stone? How can I help you?
I want to prepare a surprise for my wife and the Reverend for tonight.
Yes, sir.
A New Year's Eve party. Some roast duck, a bit of cold ham, some good cheese, a bottle of champagne, and a bottle of good brandy.
It's short notice, Mr. Stone. But I'll do my best. What'll you be eating?
What everyone else eats. Will they be surprised? Oh, I'm feeling wonderful for the first time in months. And for breakfast tomorrow, see if your maid can find a haddock, a large one. Oh, I feel I shall be quite hungry in the morning.
Oscar wasn't hungry New Year's morning. Oscar was dead. And today, the 4 small bottles which played so large a part in his death can be seen in the Black Museum. Sad New Year's Day for Anne Stone and a bewildering day for the Reverend Edgar Sweet. Oscar Stone, husband and friend, lay dead quite suddenly, and after what seemed an indicated quick recovery. But that was only the first event of January 1st, 1910. Onto the scene strode an old man, Oscar's 75-year-old father. Anne met him at the door to the Stone apartment.
Oh, Father. Father.
Yes, of course. Cry all you want. I want to see my son.
He's in here, Father.
All right. Who is this?
Reverend Sweet, our good friend and pastor.
Yes, I heard about you. Oscar wrote me.
This moment comes to all of us, sir. We can only pray for courage.
I've got courage. What I want is facts. I'll see my boy now. It looks as if he died in his sleep.
He did. So peacefully. I didn't realize it until morning.
You were a good boy, Oscar. I shouldn't be outliving you. Huh? There's a funny smell around his mouth.
The doctor said he had gastritis, Father.
That's not what I smell. Are you having a post-mortem?
Dr. Richards asked for permission to do one.
Richards? Who's he?
The family doctor, Mr. Stone, a fine young man.
All right, if he wants to do it, all right. But I want my man there with him.
Father, are you insinuating?
I'm not insinuating anything. I just don't like the look of this. For his own protection, Miss Richards ought to have another man present, that's all. My boy's no right.
The second doctor arrived, and forthwith, behind locked doors, the autopsy was performed. In the landlord's parlor, Anne waited, with Edgar to give her support and courage. Presently, the door opened.
Mrs. Stone.
Yes, Dr. Richards.
We are ready with our report.
Did you find out anything?
We are not certain as yet. But Dr. Fletcher, your father-in-law's man, suggests Mr. Stone swallowed chloroform.
Chloroform?
Yes. Will you come upstairs and hear the report, please?
Anne?
Yes?
Did you... the chloroform I bought for you, that is...
It's still in its bottle, Edgar. Don't worry, you don't even have to mention it. Shall we go upstairs now?
The 2 young people went upstairs, but not hand in hand. There was a sudden reserve between them. In the room where the doctors and old Mr. Stone awaited them.
This is Dr. Fletcher. My daughter-in-law?
Pass the suite.
How do you do?
As Dr. Richards was in charge of the case, perhaps he's the one to give you our official report.
Oh, please do, Dr. Richards.
It's a simple report. We are unable to find any natural cause of death. The contents of the stomach are suspicious. We're holding them for the coroner.
Have you any particular suspicions, gentlemen?
None which we care to state officially.
You realize the room where death occurred must be sealed and its contents must not be touched.
Oh, my purse is in there.
It'll have to stay there.
Surely I may have my coat and a hat.
I assume so. If Dr. Fletcher's present when you remove them.
Anne went to stay with a cousin, a brief train journey away. The coroner's inquest was held and adjourned, pending a full report from a government analyst. That was all. But Edgar dispatched a note to Anne, and she met him as he requested, in a quiet tea room in Pimlico.
Edgar, what's the matter with you? You haven't looked me straight in the eye since we met today.
I can't seem to help myself. Anne, Dr. Richards did tell you that Oscar might not live out the year.
Of course he did.
It came so suddenly. They've all behaved so strangely. And I'm afraid I'm finished. If this develops into anything, I shall lose my pulpit.
If you don't do anything foolish, I certainly won't.
Everything's going wrong. I feel as if... Anne, I bought that chloroform. If there is chloroform in the autopsy report... Anne, don't you see?
Forget the chloroform. Forget all about it.
I can't. Where is it? What did you do with it?
I took it with me when I left the apartment. Right in my coat pocket, under the nose of my dear father-in-law. I poured it out of the train window. Then I threw the bottle away.
Oh, that makes it worse. If they prove that Oscar was... But don't you see? They'll trace the chloroform to me.
In other words, Edgar, you're implying that I gave it to Oscar.
I'm not implying anything of the kind.
What else are you saying? Edgar, you helped me over a bad time. Now I think it will be best if we do not see each other anymore. Goodbye, Edgar.
The lady was annoyed, perhaps rightly so. The young man was frightened, very rightly so. In their separate ways, each awaited the report of the government analysts. At long last, Dr. Richards came to the young widow.
The news could be a lot worse, Mrs. Stone. They could have found arsenic or one of the slower, more common poisons.
Oh, what have they found, Doctor?
Poisoning by chloroform.
Oh, Doctor, that is the worst.
How so? Don't tell me you had some in your possession.
I did. I had my reasons. Doctor, my married life was not happy. I am young. He was old. Practically my father. He kept putting me in Edgar's company. I began to... When two people are together constantly,
Please go on, Mrs. Stone.
I obtained the chloroform. I kept it in a drawer. But I'd never had a secret from Oscar. Never. On any score. So on New Year's Eve after our party, I told him I had it and where it was. He spoke to me sadly, but kindly, grieved that I'd been feeling about him as I did. Then he went to sleep. Or I thought he did. The next I knew, he was dead.
Did you look at the bottle?
Yes, I couldn't tell how much was gone. I took the bottle and I poured what was in it from the train as I read.
The autopsy report came to Edgar as well. He wrestled with himself and finally took the only course which seemed open.
Inspector Seward?
Yes, come in, sir. Sit down.
Thank you.
I understand you have some information in the matter of the death of Oscar Stone.
I do. You see, I bought the chloroform.
They should be in here somewhere, Sergeant. If the little parson is telling the truth, I'm sure he is. Let himself in for something with that woman, didn't he? It looks that way. Leave it to a woman every time. Grease spots, eh? Not bad for an amateur. I suppose this is the gorse patch where you said he threw those small bottles. Yes, this is the place. I found one, Inspector. 2-ounce size. The others can't be far. Yes, here are 2 more. 1-ounce capacity, these. And here's the 4th. Innocent little things, aren't they, sir? Anne Stone, I have a warrant for your arrest on the charge of willful murder of your husband. Edgar Sweet, I have a warrant for your arrest. You stand charged as an accessory before the fact in the murder of Oscar Stone.
The trial took place at the next assizes.
Gentlemen of the jury, the Attorney General, who has this case in hand, with full knowledge of the facts, will present no evidence against the Reverend Mr. Sweet. You are therefore directed to find him not guilty, and I shall order his release at once.
Edgar Sweet left the courtroom, a much wiser young man. The trial of Anne Stone proceeded and rested entirely on the medical evidence.
Dr. Fletcher, you have described yourself as an expert in criminal toxicology. We have accepted you as such. Is that correct?
It is, sir.
Very well. Now, I call the particular attention of the jury to the answers you will give to these questions, as they will have great bearing on the evidence against my client. First, sir, have you ever known of a recorded case of murder by liquid chloroform?
No.
Is there any record, to your knowledge, of the forcible administration of this liquid, of anyone pouring it down a victim's throat?
There is not.
If the victim were sleeping, for instance...
The burning would waken him. It would probably go down his windpipe, not his gullet.
And there would be burns, clearly visible after death.
There would be.
Then, in your expert opinion, Dr. Fletcher, is it impossible to commit murder by liquid chloroform?
Nothing's impossible, but it's highly improbable.
Thank you, Doctor. That is all.
The chief witness of the Crown, Dr. Fletcher, had given his testimony. All that remained, in the opinion of the defending counsel, was to create a reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury. He called no witnesses, but spoke for 6 hours, summing up. In essence, he said,
Oscar Stone was a loving, if elderly, husband. He felt his life was over. Remember, he was an eccentric who believed in having 2 wives. Can we say that this man, who had given so much to his sweet young wife, was not prepared to give her the greatest gift of all, her freedom? Once he knew that chloroform was in the house, could he not have taken it himself and passed quickly into the coma which ended in death? And if he gave this lovely girl freedom, are you, who sit in judgment, to do any less?
The judge was clear, if somewhat caustic in his charge to the jury.
There have been sweet faces which hid guilty consciences before. When a young wife and a young man are thrust into daily contact by a doting husband, strange events have a way of taking place. All this is true, but one salient remains. You may find this woman guilty as charged only if no reasonable doubt exists in your minds that she did commit the crime of which she stands.
The jury deliberated for over 2 hours. There were 12 solemn men when they filed back into the jury box. Anne Stone rose to face them. The clerk asked for the verdict. The foreman rose and spoke clearly.
We have considered the grave suspicions in this case, but find no evidence that would indicate who administered the poison to the victim. We find the accused, therefore, not guilty.
But despite that perhaps surprising verdict of not guilty, the 4 famous small bottles can be seen today in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment.
No double jeopardy. That's an ancient English law, no double jeopardy. One cannot be tried twice for the same offense. It was felt, therefore, that since Anne Stone had been acquitted, if she had committed this crime, she ought to tell the world how it had been done. But no. All that was heard thereafter from Anne Stone was a letter addressed to a defending counsel. It read as follows. Dear Sir Edward, I feel I owe my life to your earnest effort. I have not been a good woman, and my temptations have been terrible. But though I have not kept my vows, you will judge me mercifully. And there the case rests. now until we meet next time in the same place and I tell you another story about the Black Museum, I remain as always obediently yours.
The Mysterious Traveler.
This is the Mysterious Traveler, inviting you to join me on another journey into the realm of the strange and the terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, and it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves, and be comfortable, if you can. Where are we going? Why, we're going to follow the adventures of a man who thought he could commit murder and escape punishment. I call the story Death Laughs Last. It was while I was practicing medicine in an eastern city that Edward Harrison brought his wife Mary to me for an examination. I could see at a glance that she was dangerously ill. When I had finished my examination, however, I tried to conceal her true condition from her till I had a chance to speak privately to her husband.
It isn't anything serious, is it, Dr. Smith? Oh, please tell me that it isn't.
Well, I'm afraid it's too soon to say, Mrs. Harrison. Until the X-ray plates are ready, I can't say yes or no.
Oh, but...
Now your husband is waiting outside. He's probably beginning to worry, so...
Oh, yes, of course.
Here's your wife, Mr. Harrison. You must have thought I'd kidnapped her.
No, but I was getting a little worried, Doctor. I hope you didn't find anything very wrong.
Well, I took several X-rays, but I won't be able to tell much until they're developed. I'd like your wife to come back day after tomorrow, if she can.
Of course, Doctor. What time would be the best?
Well, any time that's convenient to you. Now, I'll write out a prescription your husband can have filled. Will you step in for a moment, Mr. Harrison?
Sure thing. With you in a moment, Mary.
Of course, darling.
Sit down, won't you, Mr. Harrison?
All right. Oh, what is it, Doctor?
Mr. Harrison, your wife is dangerously ill.
Does that mean she's going to die?
Her only hope is a brain operation. A very difficult and delicate operation. Without it, well, I could only give her 6 months, a year at most.
No, it mustn't be. She's got to have the operation, you hear?
I must tell you, Mr. Harrison, that only one man in this country has the necessary skill for the operation your wife needs. He's Dr. Howard Richards, and naturally he's in great demand. His average fee for an operation is about $1,500.
$1,500?
Well, of course, if you can't afford that, you might consider the circumstances and...
No, I can afford it. I can afford anything Mary needs.
Well, then I'll get in touch with him at once.
Yeah, sure. You make the arrangements right away, and I'll get a hold of the money. I'll get it to you by tomorrow, sure.
Darling, help me off with my coat, will you?
Oh, sure, Mary. Yeah. How are you feeling?
Oh, much better since Dr. Smith gave me that medicine in his office.
He's a swell doctor. He'll fix you up in no time.
Did he tell you anything more, Edward?
Not a thing, except that the treatment might take a little time, that's all.
A little time? Oh, dear, I hope it won't be too expensive. Your business hasn't been good, and we've used up all the money in our savings account, and...
Oh, don't you fret about money. Don't you worry about anything.
All right, darling. I won't. Oh, but aren't you going to take your coat off?
No, I've got to get the prescription the doctor gave me filled. You just take it easy till I get back. I might stop in at the shop, too. There's something I've got to attend to there. Mr. Danvers, I'm Ed Harrison.
Oh, yes, Mr. Harrison. Please sit down. I see that you want to borrow $1,500 from us.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the security you offer, your home...
Well, what's wrong with it? It's a swell little house, good section, all in good repair.
Yes, that's true. But you already have a first and second mortgage on it, totaling $4,000. And, well, I'm afraid we can't make any further loans.
But I've got to have the money. I've just got to.
I'm sorry to hear that, because there's nothing we can do to help you. Nothing we can do.
You say you're not employed, Mr. Harrison.
No, I own a shop. I'm a locksmith.
Mm-hmm. Well, that means you're never certain of your income. If you had a job now, a regular income you could depend on...
What are you getting at? You mean you're not going to let me have the money?
I certainly wish I could, but under the circumstances... Well, I'm sorry, very sorry, but there's nothing I can do.
I'm afraid the collateral you suggest isn't satisfactory, Mr. Harrison. We'd lend you the money if we could, but we just can't. Sorry.
But I've got to have it. I've just got to.
Sorry.
It's to save Mary's life. She'll die if I
Sorry.
don't. And I won't let her die. I won't.
Sorry.
Sorry. Look,
Sorry.
you must...
Sorry.
Listen. You must...
Edward, you aren't eating. Oh, and you're so quiet. Dear, is there anything wrong?
What? Oh, no, of course not.
You're worrying about me, aren't you?
Why, no, Mary. I was just thinking about making some changes at the shop. But...
Darling, you don't have to lie to me. I know I'm not well, but I'm going to get better. Really, I am, I promise.
Of course you are. Dr. Smith said so. You're going to be well in no time. Now I've got to go out. I have an appointment over the other side of the city with Horace Latimer. He wants to see me about something. Something important.
Edward had no appointment with Horace Latimer, but went to see Horace anyway. For he and Horace had been boyhood friends, and their paths had separated, and Horace had grown wealthy. But in his desperation, Edward Harrison hoped that Horace would remember the past and would lend him the money he'd been trying to raise all day. Horace could spare it easily. But would he?
1,500? That's rather a lot of money, Ed.
I know it is, Horace, but it's for Mary, for an operation. I've got to have it.
Yes. Why don't you try the bank? You have a house, a business.
I have tried the bank and all the personal loan companies in town. They all turned me down, said the security wasn't good enough.
I see. Well, that's too bad. But I don't quite understand why you came to me, Ed.
Because we're friends, that's why. Because when we were boys, we agreed that we'd each of us always lend the other a helping hand if we could.
Boys don't understand business very well, I'm afraid, Ed.
No, I suppose not. They don't understand business. They just understand friendship. You know, if I had the money and you needed it, I'd lend it to you in a minute.
I don't doubt that at all, Ed. And you can bet I'd lend it to you if I had it. But that's the trouble. I haven't any ready cash. The income tax, you know, and a couple of shaky investments that I had to bolster up lately.
All right, Horace, never mind explaining. I get the idea. You're not going to lend me the money.
Really, Ed? I would if I could, but I can't. I'm sorry.
Save your sorrow for somebody else. I don't need your money, you hear? I'll get it someplace else. Yes, I'll get it. Somehow.
After he had slammed out of Horace Latimer's expensive home, Edward stood for a moment on the dark street corner, staring back with bitterness in his face.
Sorry. Yes, you're sorry. In a pig's eye, you're sorry. What a sap I was to think you were a pal of mine.
What's that, buddy? Oh, was you talking to me?
What? Oh, no, sorry. I guess I was thinking out loud.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, got a match?
A match? Oh, sure. Yeah. There you go.
Thanks. Okay, just hold it like that. Make a move and I'll plug you.
Gun?
Yeah,
Why,
this is a stick-up. Hold your whole hand over your dough and make it fast, see?
My dough? That's a hot one. I'm out trying to raise money myself. We're both out of luck. I've only got $1 on me. Take it if you want it anyway. It's more than I could raise.
Don't try to kid me. Stand still while I see what you got in your pockets. A wallet. A leather case of some kind.
You'll find just $1 in that wallet.
Yeah? $1. One measly buck. I bet you got a roll hidden in this leather case. It's heavy enough.
There's nothing in there but my emergency kit.
Yeah, well, I'll just see for myself. Say. Oh, this kit is full of skeleton keys and picklocks and stuff. What are you, anyway, second-story worker?
I'm a locksmith and a safe repairman, if it's anything to you. Now, how about taking $1 and letting me go on my way? I'm in a hurry.
Not so fast, pal. Not so fast. Were you leveling just now when you said you was trying to raise dough?
Yeah, I've got to have $1,500 by tomorrow. What's it to you?
You'd be surprised, pal. Okay, I'm putting the gun away, but you ain't leaving yet. Me and you, we're going to talk business. Because I got a plan that'll get us both all the dough we need. Two more beers, waiter.
Coming up.
Well, is it a deal on the proposition?
I don't know, Mike.
Sure you do. There's nothing to it. You can open locks and safes. I know where there's a house with plenty of dough in it. You and me together, we'll go get it. We'll make a team.
What, burglary? I ain't never stolen anything in my life.
Listen, you said you needed the dough bad, didn't you? So do I, plenty bad. You said you'd do anything to get it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Then what are you hanging back for? All you gotta do is get the back door opened and the safe. In half an hour, you'll have your $1,500 and more. How else are you ever gonna get it? Answer me that.
I don't know. You're sure the money's there, Mike?
Positive. I was casing the joint, looked in the window in time to see the old geezer put a whole roll of bills in a safe that's like a bread box. You could open it with your teeth.
All right, I'll do it. I've got to have the money. I'll go on the job with you.
Okay, this is the joint. Everybody's hit the hay long ago. It'll be a cinch.
The luck looks easy. But I shouldn't be doing this. There must be some other way to get the money straight.
Don't be a sucker all your life. You gotta take what you want in this world. If you don't, you'll never get it. Everybody's a crook of some kind. Take it from me.
Well,
get on. Get that door open. We gotta get inside before we're spotted.
All right. Let me take a second, I think. Yes. There. It's unlocked.
Okay, get inside. The safe's in the library. Down this way. Don't make any noise.
You're sure there's only two of them in the house?
Yeah, the old guy and his butler. Probably both of them deaf as posts. Here's the library. Come on. The safe's behind the picture on the wall.
This picture?
Yeah, that's it. I'll lift it down. There you are. That safe is just a kid's toy. Go ahead, get it open.
It won't be that easy. But I'll have it open inside half an hour.
Hurry it up. You've been 40 minutes on that thing.
It's coming now. There. It's open.
About time, too. Now let's see what's in it. Here's the cash box. Will I open it? There. Look. Dough, cash, Mazuma. What'd I tell you?
There must be thousands there.
Easy. Come on, we'll count it and divvy it up.
No, never mind. Just give me 1,500. That's all I want. You can keep the rest.
Are you kidding?
No, that's all I want. Just the 1,500 I need.
Okay, it's your funeral. Yeah, here you are. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, $1,500 bills.
$1,500?
Yeah, for just an hour's work. Easy money, huh? What do you say? We crack a couple more cribs tonight?
No, I just want to get out of here now and...
Get behind this door. I'll take care of it.
Burglars! Jenkins! Police! Help!
What'd you expect me to do? Shake his hand?
But you killed him. Yes. I'm an accessory to murder.
Cut the guffin. Let's get out of here. Or do you want to get caught?
No, of course not.
Well, then let's get going. Come on. We can...
Stand still, both of you. I have a gun and I have you covered.
The butler.
If you move, I'll shoot. I can see you perfectly.
He's standing on the stairs. He's got a gun. We're caught.
No, not yet. We ain't. Not for an old scarecrow with a rusty horse pistol.
Put up your hands. I'm going to call the police. You've done something to the master.
Okay, we'll put up our hands. Like fun, we will.
Oh!
I shot him.
We got to get out of here in a hurry. Those shots... Okay, here we are. Come on in.
Well, why did you make me come here? Why can't I go home?
You heard me. Come on in. It's better. Now, take off your hat and stay a while.
But I can't stay, Mike. My wife, she'll be worrying. Home to her.
You've got other things than your wife to worry about, chum.
What do you mean, Mike?
I mean the cops. Or have you forgotten? You're wanted for murder.
No, I haven't forgotten. I'll never be able to forget. Oh, why did you kill them? Why?
Well, it was either kill them or go to jail. Or would you rather have gone to jail, huh?
No, but I'm all mixed up. Did I get into this anyway?
You needed dough. That's how you got into this. And you got it, so now cut out the sob stuff.
Why wouldn't you let me go home? Why did you make me come here to your room?
You're here so you and me can have a little talk.
What kind of a talk?
Well, chum, that door and that safe open. You and me got a future together.
I won't do it. I won't.
Sure you can always send a little note to the cops.
They'd get you, too.
I'd be a long ways up here. You gotta sit quiet. You can say, You don't think you can pull a job and then go on as if nothing had happened. Somebody's always got to do another.
I did it only for a minute
now, and you can't get out. Wait.
I'll have a get it off my chest.
Oh, no, you don't. You see, the second if I thought... Get it, go!
You got me into this. You with it? I'll take that gun away from you. I'll put you out. Oh. Mike. He's dead. I've got to get away.
In a daze of horror, he made his way to the street. Thoughts which he could not control round in his head.
They'll hang me. But I had the money. The money to make Mary. Now they'll catch me. They'll hang me if I've got to. Paid for somehow. But if you can't escape if you're lucky. I need a drink. I've got to have a drink before I go crazy.
So Edward Harrison's street. And struggling to control his shaking as normal, he ordered a double whiskey. And gulped it, his senses cleared a little. He heard the radio at the end of the bar, broadcasting a warning to the city.
Attention. The police department for the following man. Committed in the Buxton Park. Please make a note of the following...
Say, buddy, what's the radio off for?
Because I was...
See? And I got a night I want to hear it. So I'm going to turn it back on again.
No, you mustn't.
I'm going to... If you try a gun right here under the bar, see what that dirty killer looked like.
I repeat, beyond night, lean and wiry, with reddish-brown hair, in Buxton Park earlier this evening. Man reported once to her. Now turn you back to our regular night owl program of popular dance tunes.
Lean and wiry with reddish-brown hair, huh? Well, that ain't you. You're heavy-set and black-haired. But for a minute there, you had me going. I was positive you was the killer the way you didn't want me to hear the description. I guess you just jumped me, huh? Well, here. Have another drink. On the house.
Thanks. I need some sleep. Yeah, that's what I need. Some sleep.
How close he had come to giving himself away, Edward Harrison hurried. Mike the police were looking for, not Edward Harrison, and they had. Edward Harrison was safe. His old good luck, Edward was asleep.
quiet. And troubled by nightmare, Mary was already preparing breakfast.
Good morning, darling. Who?
It was pretty late. I stopped at the shop. It was pretty and did a little work. I forgot to watch the time.
Oh, and this morning you look terrible. I know. You're worrying about me. Oh, but you about me. Really, I am.
Of course you are. I'm going to see to that.
What do you think? Dr. Smith called up last night. He wanted to talk to you. Said he had some good news for you.
Good news?
Yes, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. I don't know why. He asked for you to stop in at his office this morning.
I think I know what it is. Yes, sure, I'll go right over and see him.
Oh, but darling, you're going to eat breakfast first, aren't you?
I'll eat when I get back. I want to see the doctor first. Anyway, I'm not very hungry.
Well, all right, Edward. But please hurry back. I want to know what the doctor says, too.
Yeah, sure, Mary. I'll be right back. But everything's okay now, darling. Everything's okay.
After he left the house, Edward bought a morning paper. Big headlines told of the murders the night before, but he scarcely saw them. His eyes hurried through the story until he found what he was looking for. The news that Mike's body had been found. The butler Mike had shot had given the police Mike's description and then died before he could tell them there was anyone with Mike. So the police had listed Mike's death as a suicide or an accident and closed the case. Edward Harrison was safe. Perfectly safe.
Safe. I'm safe. Mike was wrong. Sometimes you can get away with murder and not have to pay anything if you're lucky. And I've been lucky. I've been lucky.
When Edward Harrison entered my office, he sat down beside my desk and tossed a folded newspaper into the wastebasket. His expression was that of a man who had just faced disaster and been rescued at the last moment.
Good morning, Doctor. Mary said you'd phoned. You had good news.
Yes, Mr. Harrison, I called you last night after I got in touch with Dr. Richards. I wanted to tell you that he had agreed to operate on your wife.
Oh, that's swell, Doctor. And I've got the money right here in my pocket.
Money, yes. Yes, I was also going to tell you that Dr. Richards had said not to worry about it. You could take as long as you wanted to pay it.
As long as I wanted?
Yes.
Then it wasn't necessary. I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do it.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Never mind, Doctor. I mean, I've got the money. I want to pay it. He's got to take it right away. Well, what's the matter? What are you looking at me like that for? The operation is going to save Mary's life, isn't it? You said it would. You can go back on your word. You can, do you hear?
It's not that, Mr. Harrison. Yes, the operation would save your wife's life, but unfortunately, Dr. Richards was the only man in this country able to perform it.
Well, so what? He said he'd do it, didn't he? And I've raised the dough to pay him, so what's the hitch?
Mr. Harrison, Dr. Richards can't perform the operation now.
But you said...
He was tragically murdered last night by a burglar who broke into his home in Buxton Park. This is the mysterious traveler again. Did you enjoy our little trip into the life of a man who thought he could make good come out of evil? Poor Edward Harrison. He didn't believe that crime must always be paid for by someone, did he? What became of him? Well, after his wife died a few months later, he confessed everything to the police. He didn't have anything to live for, poor fellow. But I hope his experience will teach you that crime really doesn't pay. I always say that it... Oh, you're getting off at the next stop. I'm sorry. But perhaps we'll meet again soon. I take this same train every week.
You have just heard Chapter 42 of The Mysterious Traveler, a series of dramas of the strange and terrifying. In today's story, Death Laughs Last, Philip Clark played Edward Harrison, Carl Emery played Mike, and Elizabeth Morgan played Mary Harrison. The Mysterious Traveler is written by Bob Arthur and David Cogan, and original music is played by Henry Silverne. The entire production is under the direction of Jock McGregor. And now, an important message for all of you.
This is Jock McGregor speaking. The National War Fund Drive begins tomorrow. As you probably know, this fund includes over 22 of the major war relief and service organizations. As the war progresses on all fronts, more and more people will need help. Our armed forces, American prisoners of war, our allies, and people right here at home. And by giving to the National War Fund, you will be helping. Consider just one of the many organizations that the War Fund supports, the USO. More than 3,000 service units are in operation, clubs where our servicemen and women find recreation, dances, educational activities, reading, writing, and game rooms, and religious counsel. The USO is responsible for the traveler's aid desks, which help servicemen make connections and find sleeping accommodations. It operates the lounges in railroad and bus terminals. USO camp shows bring American entertainment to our troops at camps and stations throughout this country and in all of the combat zones. Groups will play the jungle circuit in the South Pacific, the desert circuit in North Africa, the grass skirt circuit in the Hawaiian Islands, and the foxhole circuit in combat zones just behind the front line. We can't measure in money the good accomplished by the USO, but we can help to continue that good work by giving our money the National War Fund. So when your community war fund or war chest representative calls on you, give and give generously.
Listen next time to a tale titled The Man the Insects Hated. Another tale of the Mysterious Traveler. The Mysterious Traveler is presented by WOR Mutual from the WOR studios in New York. Beginning Saturday, October 7th, The Mysterious Traveler will be heard at a new time. It will be presented every Saturday evening at 10:30 Eastern Wartime over most of these same stations. So remember the new time, 10:30 p.m., Saturdays.
This is Mutual.
The Strange Dr. Weird.
Good evening. Come in, won't you? What's the matter? You seem pale tonight. Perhaps you're working too hard. Suppose I tell you a story I've just heard that might relax you. It's about a killer who prided himself on being too clever to be caught, and what happened when he met another murderer who was equally clever. I call the story When Killers Meet. My story begins in a small Midwestern city. It is late afternoon, and two men are crouching in the shadows of an alley in the downtown section. They are Nick Randolph, clever jewel thief, and his companion, Mike Nelson, and they are being hunted by the police.
Nick, listen. Those patrol cars, they're all around us. Nick, we're trapped.
I'll get us out of it. Have I ever slipped up yet?
No, but you did this afternoon when you plugged that jeweler. Oh, what did you have to kill him for?
Because he saw me substitute that phony diamond for the real one. His testimony could have sent us to the pen for 10 years.
Yeah, and now he's dead. And if we are caught, we get the rope instead.
A dead witness can't testify, and we're not going to be caught. Once we get hold of the car, I know every back road around here. I can get us onto one where they'll never dream of looking for us.
Yeah? And where are we going to get a car?
We're going to have one inside of 1 minute. Look at that guy walking this way. He's taking keys out of his pocket. He's going to unlock that car parked there at the end of the alley.
Yeah, here he is stopping. It's his car, all right.
Come on, follow me. I'll handle this.
Okay, Nick.
Oh,
excuse me, sir.
Yeah? What is it? A gun. What is this, a hold-up?
Not exactly. Call it an emergency borrowing.
Yes. I can't.
All right, Mike, pick up his keys. We're on our way. Well, Mike, you getting your confidence in me back yet?
All right, Nick, I admit it. You got what it takes.
I've never been caught, never been jailed, Mike. Why? Because I'm too clever. No witness has ever testified against me. I've never left a possible witness alive. See?
Yeah, I see, Nick. What's the next move?
This road will take us out of the state in another hour. We have to go through a couple of villages, but nobody will stop us. They're not looking for us here. Besides, it'll be dark in 20 minutes. Suppose you turn on the radio. There might be some news.
Okay. Just time for the news, too.
Time for the invasion. And now, please, attention, everyone. Attention, everyone. Be on the lookout for 2 men fleeing the state in a stolen black sedan. These 2 men are wanted for the hold-up murder of John A. Smith in Central City this afternoon.
Nick, they know about the car.
Please take down this license number, K370154. K370154. That is the license number of the stolen car in which the killers are fleeing.
That's the license number, too, Nick.
Shut up, Mike.
The owner, now in City Hospital, near death from a bullet wound, reports that the left headlight of the stolen car is burned out. So if you see a black sedan with only one headlight, report it at once to the nearest authorities. And now, back to the news.
Blast the luck. I should have fed him more slugs. Then he wouldn't have done any talking.
That's bad. What are we going to do now, Nick?
Well, first, let's make sure about that headlight. I'll turn it on. Yeah, the left one is burned out. Well, that means we've got to get another car or they'll nab us sure.
Well, how are we going to get another buggy way out here in the country?
I'll tell you how. Look, up there on top of that hill ahead of us.
Huh? A bungalow with lights in the window. Yeah, and a car parked in the yard.
That's the car we're going to get. And nobody's going to know we have it because we're going to make dead sure there isn't a living soul left in that bungalow to tell about it.
Hardly 2 minutes later, the 2 men stopped their car in the driveway outside the little bungalow and stared with hard eyes toward the brightly lighted windows.
Well, here we are. See anyone around?
No. Everybody must be inside. What's our play?
We'll go up and knock, pretend we've lost our way. Get inside, then make sure we have everybody in the house spotted.
And then we start blasting, huh?
That's right. At this time, there'll be no slip-up. Okay, let's go.
Nick and Mike strode up the gravel path and knocked on the door of the bungalow. A little man, whose face was twisted by horror and remorse, opened it for them and then startled them by crying out.
Sheriff, you're here. Thank heaven you came so quick.
What? Sheriff? What do you mean, Sheriff?
Sheriff, I didn't mean to do it. I really didn't mean to do it.
Nick, what's the guy talking about?
Here, Sheriff, take it. Please take it. It's a poker I killed her with.
A bloodstained poker?
She's been nagging at me all day, telling me what a failure I was. How sorry she was she ever married me. And then I hit her. She fell and there was blood all over.
Say, what is this, Nick?
Mike, look.
Good grief. It's a woman lying on the floor at the foot of the stairs. And there's blood all over her hair and on the floor beside her head.
Yeah, don't you get it? We've stumbled onto a murder. This little punk has just killed his wife.
Doctor, with all your experience, what is the first thing you notice about people?
Whether they're living or dead.
Well, that does make a difference, doesn't it? You know, Doctor, I notice the same thing, only with hats, not people. Some hats look alive. Some are dead. A hat that stays lively and in fine shape a long time after it's been bought will naturally make the rest of your clothes look worlds better. A colorless and dead-looking hat can kill the good effect of even the most fashionable apparel. Hats can make a difference. Gentlemen, wear a smart-looking hat that will keep its shape and help you look your best. Wear an Adam hat. They are made of fine, quality material, tailored and blocked in the latest styles. And an Adam will fit your head perfectly. You're not always tugging at the brim and adjusting the crown. Remember the name, Adam. An Adam hat does make a difference. Now, back to the strange Dr. Weird.
And now I'll continue my story
when killers meet. For a minute, Nick Randolph and Mike Nelson, startled by stumbling onto a murder in the very house where they had planned to eliminate all the residents and steal another getaway car, could only stare at the dead woman lying in the hall and at the little man blurting out his pitiful confession.
I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't, I tell you, I didn't.
Then brutally, Nick grabbed the little man and shook him. Listen to me. You hear? Listen to me.
Yes, Sheriff.
What's your name?
Harry Williams. But I told you that over the phone just now when I...
Yeah, I know, but now let me get this straight, Williams. Your wife's been nagging you all day. So just now you hit her with a poker, is that it?
Yeah, I just couldn't stand her nagging me anymore. Something in me snapped, but I didn't mean I didn't.
Now, get control of yourself. You say you telephoned the sheriff 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, but aren't you the sheriff?
No, I'm not the sheriff. I was just passing, see? The sheriff will be here in a minute. Now, you sit down and wait for him.
Wait for him?
Yes, I'll stop in town to make sure that he's coming. Now, you go back in and sit down.
Go back and sit down?
Yes, that's right.
All right, did you say so?
Nick, what is this? Don't you understand? This guy's a murderer. The sheriff and his deputies will be here any second. We've got to get away from this place, but fast.
But, Nick, I still don't get it. Why didn't we bump him off? Why didn't we even take his car?
Because we didn't have the time, you dummy. Don't you see he'd committed a murder? He'd sent for the cops. If we'd hung around even a minute more, we might have bumped into him.
Yeah, and that's the last thing we wanted to do now, to bump into any cops.
As it is, with the sheriff hustling out there to pick up this Williams guy, he won't be thinking of us. We can get into the next town, maybe pick up another car there. But the one place we had to get away from fast was that house back there with that dead woman in it.
Sure, I see that now. And, Nick, Nick, look, down the road. A car pulled right across the road. And a bunch of guys with rifles.
A trap. Well, we're not stopping. We're not going to be caught.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
I'll swing it around and I'll hit the ditch. Hold on, here we go.
Nick, they're shooting at us.
Well, hang on, we're going to make it.
No, look out, Nick, that tree. We're going to hit it.
A few minutes later, the local sheriff was interviewing little Harry Williams, whose murder of his wife had thrown such a monkey wrench into Nick Randolph's plans.
Now, Mr. Williams, I'd like to get this whole story straight, if you don't mind.
Well, you see, Sheriff, I was sitting here in the living room with Nancy, that's my wife, listening to the radio, when the broadcast came on warning everybody to watch for the two men in the sedan with one burned-out headlight.
Yeah?
And that instant, I happened to look out the window there. And way down the road, I saw the single headlight of a car blink on for a moment.
I get you. Go on, Mr. Williams.
Well, I realized it must be the two killers in that car, and I knew they might decide to stop and take my car. Now, if they did, I was sure they killed both Nancy and myself, so we couldn't warn anybody.
Right. Why they didn't do it, I still don't know.
Well, you see, Sheriff, it's like this. Nancy is recovering from a broken leg, so we couldn't run out of the house and hide.
Yeah?
Yet, if we stayed here, the two killers might murder us. I had to think fast because it was a very tight spot.
I'll say it was.
So I quickly carried Nancy out and put her down on the hall floor. I told her to play dead, and I emptied a bottle of ketchup on the floor in her hair to look like blood.
Yeah.
Now, when those two killers knocked on the door half a minute later, I opened it and pretended to be a man who had just killed his wife in a sudden rage.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, I told them I just murdered Nancy and phoned you to come at once. They thought Nancy was really dead and that you and your men were actually on the way. So they turned right around and got away from here just as fast as they could.
Well, I'll be darned.
You see, I figured to myself, when a killer is trying to escape, the one individual he most wants to avoid is another murderer whom the police are closing in on.
Yeah?
And they were so anxious to give me a wide berth that they never even touched me. As soon as they left, I phoned you. You set the trap for them. And, well, I guess everything worked out pretty well.
Why, it worked out perfect. Say, Williams, with an imagination like yours, you ought to be a detective story writer.
Well, to tell you the truth, Sheriff, that's just what I am.
So that's what happens when one killer meets another. He gives him as wide a berth as possible. Only, of course, poor Nick was fooled. Harry Williams wasn't really a murderer at all. Now, what would have happened if, instead of being just a make-believe killer, little Harry had really been the real thing? Do you suppose that Oh, you're leaving now. I'm sorry. I hope you'll drop in again soon. Just look for the house
on the other side of the cemetery. The house of Dr. Weir.